WGR is the number. Let's squeeze Luke in here in this first segment. Hi, Luke. Thanks for calling. You're on WGR.
Hey, thanks for taking my call. Just wanted to kind of get your opinion on Ryan Reaves. He's on waivers. Maybe we bring him in. He's 2 hours away. Sell some tickets. Elevate the team a little bit. What do you think?
I think that's one of the worst ideas I've ever heard. Thank you for calling.
Michael in. Hi, Michael.
Hello. I would like to talk about Kirk Cousins. I don't know why he's the backup for the Atlanta Falcons. It's the stupidest thing since the World War.
What? Okay. I mean, I wanted to talk about Kirk Cousins because, like, I'm at work. Otherwise, I don't really see why you wanted to. But okay, maybe I missed something. Mike Schopp here. Bulldog is on a pizza oven. Last worth more to me than a pizza oven we never use. Maybe almost literally anything in the store is worth more to me than the pizza oven, more than Knox, and I can't have that. We'll see about this pizza oven. I like the idea. Is Dawson Knox the Bills' pizza oven? I don't know. You could search the pizza oven. Enjoy these.
I think it was relatively safe, and it felt good. You should get caught in the rain once in a while.
I agree.
It is healthy.
I love getting caught in the rain. Isn't that from the Pina Colada song? Isn't that one of the lines?
Yeah. If you like pina coladas and getting caught in the rain.
Getting caught in the rain, right there. It's gospel.
Yep.
You got to do it. Adam is with us. Hello, Adam.
Hey, guys. I heard you talking about,
the Pina Colada song? Yeah, I know. It was great.
Nobody's still on the team, I bet.
It's more than 10 years ago.
I doubt there's a single guy that was on that team that's still there. Maybe. Like a kicker or something, but I doubt it.
Man, we're like 10 minutes into the week, and time is just kicking my ass over here.
Yeah, you're having a shocker of time.
Time has got the jersey pulled up over my head, and then I'm like, where are the linesmen?
How about 803-0550? Cook, Palmer, Michael Hoyt, Sam Martin to Carolina, by the way. That's being reported. Leonard
What?
Floyd.
It's Mike Schopp.
He's Bulldog, talking sports. Call him on the telephone. Toss that bad Bulldog a bone. Bulldog, talking sports. Yeah.
On WGR.
All right. Heave and ho, and away we go.
Sports Radio 550.
I don't want to hear me from 30 years ago. Thank you very much. Dominic, thanks for calling. You're on the air here on WGR.
Hi. How's it going? I'm Dominic.
All right, Dominic. It's nice to talk to you.
So I would like to talk about James Cook not getting paid, and he's also not showing up to training. What is that?
Well, he's there, actually. He is with the team. He's taking part in all the meetings and all the things that everybody's doing. The only thing he's not doing, Dominic, is actually practicing because he would like to have a new contract, and the team wants to give him a new contract. They just can't decide on how much that is, and he does not want to get hurt while that's happening because then that would kind of hurt his value. In the meantime, he's also trying to show that, hey, if I'm going to not be on the team, then, you guys, you'll see how valuable I am. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think? What do you think, buddy?
I personally do not think James Cook is worth $15 million. And if he were worth $15 million, I'd say we trade him. He's not worth it. We could pick up anybody else.
Okay.
Josh Jacobs, I heard, is looking for a new team.
Dominic, I'm about. Here's where I am. If you were to say the phrase "running backs don't matter," I would want to congratulate your parents. You probably missed that. It's all right.
Receivers. My preference is the most important position on the field is QB. Without your QB, you're nothing. You're nothing.
Wow, he is fired
Dominic
up.
Dominic is fired up. All right, good deal.
With their first-round pick, Walter Nolan.
Bulldog.
They have this Panther sound effect that is just the cheesiest, stupidest sounding thing. Big voice guy going, Panther goal scored by Sam Reinhart.
Tackle with their first-round pick, Walter
Been keeping it
Nolan.
in my bathroom at the motel, feeding it old pizza.
It's Mike Schopp.
If you're calm, that wondrous big cat will be calm too. But if you're scared, that beautiful death machine will do what God made it to do, namely, eat you with a smile on its face.
And the Bulldog. On WGR Sports Radio 550.
You know you have one of the stupidest jobs on earth when it makes.
Tackle with their first-round pick, Walter Nolan.
We've been living in sin so long, all the fields are gone. Fella stopped me on the street last night, said everything's alright. Roller coaster, make it through the day upright. It seems your meal ticket is gone, but life goes on. I could never imagine something better. Yeah, right. Now you're cooking on high heat in the middle of the street. Roller coaster, take me to a better time. Let's go. All sing your high line with the roller coaster of life. It's time to all choose your timeline on the roller coaster of life. You seem to easily forget how to place your bet. When everyday life gets you down, you gotta steal the crown. Got to own it. Don't bitch and moan about it, please. God forbid you scrape your knees, and it's nothing to sneeze at. Oh, I've told you over and over again. You gotta get both hands around it and make your own plans. Roller coaster, about time. Oh, sing your high line on the roller coaster of life. You've got to all choose your timeline with the roller coaster of life. Roller coaster. I want to go down the rabbit hole, down the rabbit hole of life. And now it's about to leave. Oh, roller coaster. We've been living in sin so long, all the feels are gone. Fella stopped me on the street last night, said everything's alright. Roller coaster, make it through the day upright. It seems your meal ticket is gone, but life goes on. I could never imagine something on high.
This weekend. And before practice got underway, the Bills did announce some roster moves. They have waived cornerback Corey Couch and wide receiver Caden Prather. They've signed running back Javarian Howard and wide receiver Grant DuBose, while running back Darrington Evans has been placed on IR. We'll get more on today. Sal Capaccio will join the show in just about an hour at 4 p.m. Also, in connection with the Bills, former wide receiver Gabe Davis having his second visit with the Steelers today, and then following that, he's going to be meeting with the Bills tomorrow. The Colts have their starting quarterback. Head coach Shane Steichen announced it will be Daniel Jones. And Bucs head coach Todd Bowles confirmed wide receiver Jalen McMillan is set to miss significant portions of the regular season as he deals with a neck injury. For the Sabres, Tage Thompson and Alex Tuck are among 44 players that will be attending the U.S. Men's Olympic Orientation Camp this month in Michigan. And the Bisons, they're in action at home tonight versus Scranton just after 6:30. That game's going to be on our sister station, the Bet 1520. While in the majors, Blue Jays at Pirates and Mets at Nationals, both after 6:40. And the Yankees, they're going to be down in Florida versus the Rays just after 7:30. And then Sports Talk on WGR is presented by Paramount Plus. You can't count on much these days, but you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus. Watch your local NFL game live every Sunday on CBS and Paramount Plus all season long. Visit ParamountPlus.com/NFL to get started today. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet celebrating 90 years of being your hometown dealership. I'm Zach Jones for WGR Sports Radio 550.
It's Mike Schopp and the Bulldog.
If you wrap foil around that, just like the little bit of the base part of the banana where the fruit is, wrap foil around that top and they will last longer.
You know, I'm something of a scientist myself.
Who needs your bananas to last longer, though?
Look, I don't want to go to the store every other day for bananas.
They're 8 cents each.
What the hell are you talking about? What is going on?
You're going to wrap them in foil?
They're better when they're just a little green. Yeah.
It's Mike Schopp and the Bulldog.
Too much work.
Not that much trouble, really.
Too much work.
Says the guy that's got a spreadsheet with 3,000 fantasy teams.
On WGR Sports Radio 550.
Every other day, this man goes to the store for bananas without the foil technique. Every other day. That's how badly he wants bananas and how fast his family goes through them. I don't want to have to go to the store every other day for bananas. Would you buy other things?
No, I want to.
Just bananas.
I want to go to the store on Sunday and get an assortment of fruits that I will eat during the week after I work out. Bananas among them. I use them for protein shakes primarily. I do not just eat. I mean, they're fine to just eat, but I And I like them when they're a little green. So, yeah, that's it. I mean, I stand by every word of that.
Did I tell you how when my wife makes the shopping list, it'll say, well, I made this mistake once, and I think I won't make it again. Bananas -2. And so the first time I saw that, I went home with 2 bunches of bananas. She's like, no.
You just wanted 2 bananas.
She wanted 2 bananas.
What kind of
4 of us?
What kind of psycho buys 2 bananas? I've never bought 2 bananas.
Who would do it? Who would?
Yeah, I don't know. They're
so cheap.
They're very rarely in. 2's not even a bunch.
It's totally not a bunch. They're one of the best. It's 2. It's a couple. It's a duo.
It's a duo of bananas.
One of the best deals in sports is bananas. You can get a lot out of them, and they're just like next to nothing, cost-wise. Anyway.
I just like to keep them as fresh as I can for as long as I can.
Got to just
extend that shelf life.
Revisit that topic whenever possible. Well, I was not here yesterday. I had a friend congratulate me for not having to work yesterday because of the preseason, the debacle.
Yeah.
But it couldn't have been taken that seriously, right? Or was it Sunday?
I don't know. I mean, Nate was here, Nate Geary, and he was hot about safety, and I think safety is right now like the thing. So, I mean, the result, who cares? I mean, I don't know. We didn't take a ton of phone calls.
Well, preseason pledge refers to players, right? So if a player, good or bad, does something extreme, the WGR Morning Show's own preseason pledge tells you don't take it too seriously or seriously at all. Does the same principle apply for the whole team? Because really there was nothing in this game that stood out as good.
That's correct. That's how I would view it.
You would like for there have to been one thing,
something,
that was good.
Like even if they lose 38-0 or maybe 31-0 because one of the safeties makes the right play on the first touchdown, you could go, well, did you see Bishop stay with that guy off the line of scrimmage and bat that pass down? That's a good sign. And then he sits down after that because that was his rep total for the game. Instead, he gets roasted and Hamlin takes that terrible angle and it's a touchdown, and you're thinking, I'm thinking of Sean McDermott earlier in the week, putting Bishop kind of on notice. Kind of doubled down. He absolutely doubled down on that today. We don't know who's going to play next to Taylor Rapp, is what he's saying today. This is a team with Super Bowl aspirations. I don't think safety makes or breaks them. They got by last year with, Damar Hamlin. Like what? What is that? Like just he was okay. He was maybe fine. But there was no impact plays. There was nothing that really helped you. What you hoped is that it wouldn't hurt you, mostly. And if you want to be better than that, then you're going to need somebody else to do that job. And I don't know. Right now, I think if Jordan Hancock hadn't gotten hurt when he got hurt in this game, he'd be getting talked about legitimately. He already is, even without practicing today and maybe not playing on Saturday in Tampa. I bet a lot of Bills fans are hoping to see him on the field again soon because he maybe has looked the best of the people who have played in that spot this year.
Yeah, and think about that.
As a fifth-round rookie.
Makes or breaks. It is 180 degrees or almost 180 degrees away from peak Hayden-Poyer.
Yeah.
And I think it'll be interesting to see what happens there, which is not saying much. But McDermott, he was a safety. And if anybody writing the book on the rise to prominence, if you will, to excellence of the Bills of the last 7 years that isn't about Josh Allen or Stephon Diggs, it's those two guys. Like that was like, not to be too dramatic, but sort of the soul of the whole thing. And what? Like they were never out of position. They got slow, and when they got slower, then you were in trouble more often. But the pass rush held up, and it wasn't that often. So I wonder if he has, he did put it very, very coolly today.
Yeah.
We're looking for somebody to play next to Rapp. Like, as if he's saying we don't know who that is.
Right, we're open to ideas, right? I don't know. They're not bringing anybody in at that position that I've seen anyway. They signed a running back and a receiver today. The running back promptly got hurt on like one of the first snaps he had at practice today. So tough for that kid. I'm assuming he's a kid. Whatever. Everyone's a kid when you're 60. But yeah, I mean they're in a weird place there for a team that had so few. I mean, how were we talking a month ago? It was like cornerback 2. That's the only spot really on the roster that's debatable. That's up for grabs. Well, right? There's a competition, and that was presuming that Bishop would, assert himself and take this job by the neck, and he just has not done that.
Yeah, I would say almost. Like when I think about that, it's before the draft, and they really only have one hole in their starting lineup. That, right? The other cornerback across from Benford. And that is sort of assuming Bishop. It definitely is. But it wasn't like the Bills are like sort of all set there.
Yeah, you shouldn't have. They
just weren't in the draft market for a starter.
Right. And I don't know. I mean,
last year they were.
I like the Emin Worry idea plenty. They didn't have a look at Malachi Starks, as it turned out. He went to Baltimore a few picks before they picked. But a safety would not have blown my mind. It was, I liked Emin Worry because of the skill set more than what I perceived as a need. But I don't know, having a very strong secondary didn't stop a rival of the Bills from drafting Malachi Starks, so they could have done something to cushion themselves or give themselves some insurance.
But they needed the corner more.
I absolutely agree.
And I think it's still more important. Like that's still, it's not to be forgotten, like what's going on at that position. Hairston sounds more and more like the way everybody's talking that he's going to, need more time. Maybe he goes on IR for the first few games, maybe not. But I just wonder if Sean McDermott has an additional level of anxiety when it comes to safety because of, not necessarily because that was his position. I really would be a stretch to say that. But because it has been so fundamental to their success on defense. And then last year that changed, and so did their defense overall. Like, not only just Hyde and Poyer gave you everything you wanted. I mean, they gave you durability. They never came off the field, those two guys. We knew it. This is not one of those where we didn't appreciate, I'll say for myself, and I think for you, we didn't. It's not like we didn't appreciate that when it was happening. Like, oh, before you know it, your kids are going to be grown. I know. I'm doing my best here. I stare at them. I mean, I know. I don't exactly have a countdown clock, a ticker in my house, but I know. Like, I know they're going to leave. But
you should be so lucky.
That's right. Yes, but the Hyde and Poyer, the tandem, those gave you everything you wanted. They gave you leadership. They gave you durability. They gave you quality. They gave you
plays, right?
Plays,
yeah.
Takeaways,
impact, yeah.
Huge. You can think of games that turned on. Poyer against the Ravens. Hyde in the New England playoff game. Just exceptional, smart, capable guys. And so we should have known, and I think I'd say we did, that there'd be a transition there. But now, like this year, I said already, and you agreed, this year they needed corner more. I would still say that, and I think that that's more important. But last year was when they went into the draft for safety with Bishop. Not a first-round pick, but not an insignificant pick.
A second-round pick is you're expecting the guy to be a starter for you for years to come.
Especially, and how soon that happens depends on who else you have. But if you're drafting him then, you probably have a need, right? And they did.
Yep.
And so now, what is it right now? Is he injured? Is he damaged? Is he just not it? Like what? I don't know what the answer is. But
maybe a little bit of all of that.
Maybe. McDermott, once in a while you get him in these moods, like today. And this was also last Monday. Today's Tuesday. This was last Monday off of the Giants game. I think it was Monday when he was talking about, we need to get healthy. Like, it's time. And he had an edge to him. And he did again today, talking about safety and another topic or two, receiver even. But the safeties are, if I can, sort of the the bishops of his defense, like ideally, like with Hyde and Poyer, he wouldn't even necessarily have to tell them. But they had the freedom and the capacity to do everything without being just like a beast against the run or something. They were good enough, but they could just go. Didn't have to worry about it. Never got hurt. Never missed a play.
They just had it locked down. Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And what a luxury. So does this break the Bills? I wouldn't say that.
No,
it's a thing.
They won their 13 games last year and got to, as close as they've gotten since 2020 to going all the way with DeMar Hamlin largely starting. I mean, Bishop started some down the stretch and played some in that Kansas City game, but still, like Hamlin was the starter with Rapp for most of the season. And that's why I said, like, I don't think it has the potential to wreck them. But if, again, what has been the object of the offseason here has been pouring resources into the defense. And no, they didn't pour resources into safety. They brought in a guy in Forrest who I think maybe people thought like, oh, well, maybe he's a sneaky starter idea, and he's invisible. He's not even in the conversation, it seems. He's still on the team. So, maybe now he gets a longer look. I don't know. But they wanted to stabilize and really return their defense to being a strength of the team. Last year, they just kind of got by. They survived on takeaways. They didn't get off the field. Their third down percentage was terrible. And, that eventually caught up to them when they couldn't take the ball away from Kansas City, and they really couldn't stop them often enough at all. And so you're looking for, all the stuff they've done up front is there to help the defense as well, but you're counting on Bishop as a second-round pick from last year to become, I think, an above-average starter for you. It's a lot to ask to return to the days of Hyde and Poyer in their prime, but
it is.
This is a young guy that's athletic. Like it all sort of, the boxes are checked, and I don't know, it's just not happening. At least it didn't on Sunday. I mean, I don't know. It should be said, and I did try to say it a few times yesterday, as much as the conversation was negative revolving around him. He just returned to practice on Friday after missing most of camp. So it's not like, this has been a consistent problem. The problem has been he's consistently been missing time. And so he's just getting back up and running, and maybe that improves in the next. They got 3 weeks from Sunday is the first game, and maybe it gets better. But I don't know. We'll see what they do on Saturday because Bishop was the only defensive starter who played in this game just to get him some action.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the case again on Saturday in Tampa. Or I don't know what they'll do, but it was jarring is the word I want to hear McDermott say we're trying to figure out who's going to play next to Taylor Rapp today, because there is a game that counts in less than 3 weeks now.
Does it ever?
And it is jarring to hear the head coach say we're not sure what we're doing at one of the safety spots.
Well, I was playing a little bit last week, but what did I say at one point? That's 3 bad games in a row for their defense. Is it 4? It wouldn't have to be. Wouldn't have to be 4 if that was 3. Wouldn't this be 4? Could they ever stop them? I mean, was that the worst Bills game you've ever seen? I had the Bears. What can I say? -2.5, a healthy wager. Just, like they're going to play their guys at home, and I'm not.
Right.
2.5. Come on. My wife did not like it, and when the game ended, because she reacted so negatively to my having a bet against the Bills that I was like, oh, run it up here just for my own sake. And 38-0 the final. I texted her, and she gave me the thumbs down.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, what would the score have to have been to get any respect here? Like, I mean, that's a good bet. If you have a team -2.5 and they win by 38. But 100-0, she would not have approved anymore.
No, I think she didn't. She didn't like the bet at inception. Then she's not going to like it no matter what the score.
Because
you could have been 3-0 and you won by a half point. It isn't going to matter.
But I wouldn't have bragged about it. At 3-0, I mean, like you can't say you were right. I was right. That was one where like people make fun of the betting the preseason. It's easier. I think it's easier. I think if you just sort of know who's doing what. which is not always possible. But here, holy cow, I mean, easy to say in retrospect. It was not the worst Bills game ever because this game was the worst game. What game was the worst game? I mean, of course, it couldn't really be a preseason game.
No, a preseason game is easy enough to turn off if it's frustrating you. It's like, whatever. This isn't going to mean anything. I'm out. So I bet a lot of people even did that.
How many regular season games in their history since 1960 have the Bills lost by 38 points or more? What seems right? 55 years or whatever it is. Wait, 65 years.
I'm going to say that number is around half a dozen.
13.
Okay, well.
So it's more than you thought.
More than double what I thought. Yeah.
But it's not, it's one every 5 years or so.
Okay.
13 out of 65 years, right? That's exactly what it is. The biggest loss by point differential in Bills history is, we watched it.
I don't have it. I don't know.
New England, Sunday night.
Okay.
Undefeated New England.
56-10?
Correct. 56-10. And the second most is that Ravens opener where Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson both make their NFL debuts in relief. Peterman.
Is that 43? What is the score there?
47-3.
47-3. Okay.
So this wasn't that bad?
I mean,
no, it's a I don't know. I don't have preseason history. Maybe they've had this many preseason losses by
they lost to the Bears 33-6 last year.
33-6
last year.
This team owns them.
That was
we don't play them in the regular season.
That was a part of the tempering the sky is falling. If anybody, I don't want to imply. Nobody called me or Nate and myself yesterday and it sounded like the sky was falling.
That's good. Although I might have liked to listen to it.
Yeah, right. Well,
the last time the Bears were here, they won 38-5 or something like that. That game.
That's
41.
Peterman ran
to 9. I want to say
ran on the last play of the first half.
Right on a Hail Mary.
He should have thrown a Hail Mary.
He went for a jog on that one.
Right.
He got the stats. 41-9. I want to say that game. So we're doing what the Bills say they're doing. They're just going to get past it.
Yeah.
It's starting now. I haven't gotten. I'm still talking about it. Soon I'll get past it.
You missed yesterday, so yeah.
I did. Here's Lee with us. Hi, Lee.
Hey, how you doing?
Hi, Lee.
Yeah, I just think it's I want to call and ask you guys this because I hear all these callers calling up. I listen to the morning show and I listen to all you guys every day.
Thank you.
And it just drives me nuts that some of these Bills fans are just like, hey, we got to trade this guy for Henderson. I mean, don't they realize that the guy wants a contract extension? Number 2, you got to give up assets.
They might.
Number 3, you got to give up. You know what I mean? It doesn't make any sense to me. Same thing with the Michael Parsons situation. That is not going to fix the safety situation.
Probably anybody saying those things is not saying that they're going to fix the safety situation by trading for those players. So that isn't right. And I think people probably who are saying those things, not that I've heard one person do it, but assuming you're right, are also not unaware that they'd have to trade stuff to get those guys, right? We'd know that too. It's a question of whether it's worth it, if it's even possible, right?
You're right, but it is preseason though. I mean, you had a kick returner playing corner. I mean, right. I don't understand why people are expecting just full blown. They looked like the coach of the Bears was dialed in, and McDermott was just looking like he was just trying to get out of there healthy. Like he was just like looking at his guys. What are the fundamentals of this position? They're rotating guys in and out, and it's just I just don't buy it when people want to call up and say, the sky is falling, like what you said.
I'm saying, Lee, nobody I was in here for 4 hours yesterday. Nobody sounded like that to my ears on this show anyway. And I don't think I sounded that way, but there was a lot of heat about the safety position. And I think that's been validated by the way the coach sounds today talking about it. Like, part of my walking off point of being worried about Bishop after Sunday's game was how McDermott sounded about it last Monday, and now here we are, first time he's talking to the media after that game and after that performance where his presumed starter at one of the safety spots is the only starter who plays on defense, and he's at the scene of the crime on missed plays numerous times in like 10 or 12 snaps or whatever he played. And then today he's basically saying we got a help wanted sign in the yard. So I don't think the sky's falling. I already said I don't think it's going to make or break them, but they have a problem at a starting spot on the field that they got to try to figure out here. And they've got draft capital invested in the guy who's supposed to do the job, and I think they have real worry about whether he can do it or not. Otherwise, he wouldn't be sounding like he sounds.
Well, I mean, on top or apart from all that, if you don't think anybody should ever think the Bills should trade for two of the most elite defensive players in the NFL, fine, that's your opinion. Of course it wouldn't be cheap if it's even possible to do it, but you couldn't think that? I wouldn't expect to, I'm not spending any time thinking about such an idea because they have already done so much. They've already made so much of an effort up front where that's where they want to make their impact, and they better get it, especially if they have holes in the secondary. So, yeah, I mean, you listen to the station maybe more than I do. I never really hear that. I'm sure it exists. And Bulldog just got done saying it didn't happen at all on this show yesterday. It hasn't happened on this show yet today, but, you're referencing these sort of maybe what you think are crazy ideas. I don't know if they're crazy, but they're definitely not realistic. I wouldn't worry about it. 803-0550. Thanks, Lee. We'll look for more of your calls next. Sal joins us at 4. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog, WGR.
can they become, and how quickly can they grow? Can they grow if they're a younger player? And you're always looking to figure that other piece out. Right now, for us, we know who T-Rap is. We know what he brings to the table. It's what other piece can go along with T-Rap.
Sean McDermott, Bills with questions in the secondary.
Comment on the comments from McDermott. It just seems to me, based on what he said, that no matter who wins this job, if they're on the roster currently, it just doesn't seem like there's a lot of trust that can be put in who he actually selects to be the starting other safety. I kind of had a little bit of an issue with him saying that, only just because what kind of confidence am I supposed to have in Hamlin or Bishop at this point? Because I'm not sure what they're going to do in this last preseason game, and I'm not sure, obviously we don't get a too detailed look into practice.
Mm-hmm.
So the comment, kind of just put me off of both of those guys, because now I have no confidence that they're even confident in who they're going to select. So
yeah,
that was just my comment there. But I had a question that kind of came up in the office earlier about preseason scheduling. Kind of random, but is it common to play a team in the preseason that you play in the regular season?
Not especially, and I don't know enough to pontificate on how that happened or how exactly the schedule comes together. I've always thought that the teams have some say in it, but maybe not. But no, it's not common that you would play somebody like the Bills and the Buccaneers here who will see each other later on. You could. It's an interesting perspective you have, Bill, on the point there you made about how they were talking, how McDermott was talking. Like, either way, I'm not going to feel good. And really, pretty much nothing else is going to happen before the opener that should be informative. So, he's talking less than glowingly about his options. And I'm somebody that prefers that. I want the honesty. I want to know as best as is possible, as much as it's possible to know what he really thinks. So I guess you have to pick one or the other. Maybe, and because this happens often enough, where a team will have an issue and they'll talk like they don't because they don't want whatever it is they don't want. They don't want the players to be, looking over their shoulder or to feel like they're, in trouble, or they don't want the fans to do that, or the media, whatever it is. Like, that's just how it usually sounds. But here, I have to say, I appreciate that he's just not pretending.
Does it strike you as a departure for him at all? Because I don't have, like, him talk, I don't have it memorized, I can't recall exactly how stark he's been about, different positions and battles and whether it's going to work. Like, I don't remember how, I know he never sounded like he loved Kyer Elam when they were trying to get that off the ground, but I don't remember it being as pointed as this. And I don't know. I'm venturing toward, like, is there some change in the dynamic there? Like, is he trying to use this in a way that he hasn't before? Like, I mean, obviously
motivation.
He can obviously go to the player, and I'm assuming he's done that the whole time he's been here. And we need more from you. I need more from you. You're going to win this job. Whatever. Whatever kind of pep talk, rattle the cage type thing you want to do for motivation. So it would surprise me if he's using this news conference to send messages to the players themselves. But I
think a couple of things might be true.
Okay, good.
Is it a departure? One, he really has not had that many quandaries over the years where it's really been sort of, there's a conversation, and this one is just starting, about a player or a position. So he hasn't had too many chances. His team has been so good. I would say that's true. I would say, just using logic, too, as each year goes by and the Bills win another division title, he's got all the more reason to feel comfortable in his own skin. Like, not maybe like he would have been, or any rookie or young coach might be, where you're worried about the consequences of your words. I don't think he has to worry about that. And this might just sort of subconsciously free him up to be more honest. I think we've all said that about McDermott in different areas over the last couple of years, that he's, more willing. He came on our show last year to talk about fourth down. And he's like, I don't have any secrets. I'll tell you exactly how we do it. He would not have talked like that in 2017. In fact, it was quite the opposite. So I think there's that too. And I think he might be frustrated by one particular. This is 3 now. This is the last one.
Fine, keep going. I love it.
One particular issue that I think also just logically could be more of a problem than ever as teams are more cautious with injuries, and it's decided by whatever the team of people is that come together to make these decisions, you're coming off the field. The joke about the cart, he's really not hurt, but we've got a cart. Everybody's playing it safe. Such a long summer. We've all seen the charts. Really, there's not that much value in this practices preseason like we used to think. So just quit. Anything, you feel anything, come off the field. And that could be, and I think usually would be annoying for a coach who has come up from a different generation where you played through it. Mm-hmm. And he's got, last week he's got 15 guys on the injury report. Who knows from Curtis Samuel? Who knows from some of these guys? Like, could they play? I mean, regular season they probably do, but these days, we're going to play it safe. And now he's got Bishop, and there's that word again, consistency. He hasn't had enough of him on the field to really know what he's got, and I think that might be all he's saying today.
Mm-hmm.
Is he just has not been on the field enough for me to feel. Just like there's no reason to read into it. He told you his thought.
He doesn't know what the guy can do yet.
I don't know what we've got.
He's been here. It's a second season. He's starting with this guy on the team, and he doesn't know what he can do yet.
I don't know what we've got.
Injuries
are a part of that.
All right, good job.
So all those things together, maybe this is the result where he's just going to be more forthcoming. And I think injuries are the common thread, whether it's consistency or last week's source of frustration. It's really kind of all tracing back to that. Let's go to Mike here. Hi, Mike.
How you doing, guys? Quick thing, and yet again, here we go, another off season of us discussing one of Bean's top 2 draft picks, whether he can play or whether he's this or that. I feel like this is becoming a yearly thing now. Was Kincaid or Elam or Coleman, and maybe it's just time that he just can't evaluate talent in the first 2 rounds. I mean, and then you can say he does hit because not every person team is going to hit, but it seems like more or less. Even AJ Epinesa, I mean, I don't know, he's a B player, C player. There hasn't been many hits in the first 2 rounds, other than Allen, Deion Dawkins and things like along those people. But the past few years, every offseason on this time, we're having the same discussion about, is this player good enough? Is this player good enough? Well, does McDermott trust him or this or that? Why? No, I feel like we have another conversation with no one else about this.
I'm not going to pick at that commentary, but always with the draft, the conclusions a lot of us are in a hurry to make when it's just so few players or examples. Was he great at it, then he's bad at it? Or was maybe he like almost every other GM in history, apart from the truly terrible ones, where like Mike Mayock or somebody, like the vast majority of these guys are kind of all the same. They have the same staff of people, the same information, and, it's not all that, but I just never think that even that many players is enough to draw some conclusion about it. And we're talking about Bishop now before the second season of his career has even started, and he's hurt.
Right. He did just return to practice on Friday against the Bears and then looked bad in the game. So, I think it's fair to point that out amidst these struggles. But the coach, again, doesn't feel compelled to share that today when he's talking about his however his frustration with the situation is coming out. I mean, he's telling you today they're not sure who's going to be lined up there on opening night. And so, as much as I even want to try to temper, what the criticism on Bishop from Sunday night with he just returned to practice. McDermott's not tempering anything, So I don't know. The analysis, it's another high pick, yeah, but you're ignoring, who are you ignoring? Guys who got second contracts that were also first or second picks. Oliver, Rousseau, Osiris Torrance. So, it's not like he can't find guys. It's just, it's a guy they're counting on, and they've had a luxury, like you said in the first segment, of that being locked down prior to last year, and now they're really kind of scrambling.
Bishop picked 60 last year. I mean, this is late round 2. Previous year, late round 2 was Torrance. We like Torrance?
Torrance is excellent.
Previous year, it's James Cook.
Right, Cook was another one. I'm sorry, I missed him. Right.
Pick 63.
Yeah.
So because Bishop hasn't done more yet, we're going to lump him in with Kyer Elam. Even Coleman is it's early to talk like that, I think. I'm not a huge fan. But
I'm bullish on Coleman for this year. I like him a lot.
That's because you're a fantasy hound.
Yes, I can't get enough.
You got to have those.
I keep getting
40 catches.
I keep getting him at the turn.
That's funny.
I couldn't put a round on it because I was going to guess, and it would have been probably way off.
Oh, the turn. Love the turn.
Where 8-9 turn?
Yeah.
All right.
That's really exactly right. Yep. 9, 10, 11, even sometimes. The turn.
Yeah.
Here's Steven next. Hi, Steven.
Hey, good afternoon, guys.
Hi.
Hey, couple of things real quick. So, first of all, the safety situation is a big concern for sure. Rapp's still injured. Hopefully he'll be ready by the first game. And then, DeMar, he I know he started last year next to Rapp, but he just doesn't look as good as he should for, he's getting paid, $2 million a year, I think. So, and with the other, the other guys in question for the safety situation, that is a big concern on the defense. Now, on the offensive side of the ball, I'd like you to address this. What I've been hearing is that the Bills, okay, you may have addressed this because I just tuned in a little while ago. The Bills are talking to Gabe Davis. Now, if that's the case, I'm looking at the fact that, okay, Josh Palmer, he looks very promising. He looks great. Elijah Moore looks really lackluster thus far. And then, you got Curtis Samuel's injured. You got Shakir still dealing with the upper ankle injury. Keon Coleman looks really good too, but let's face it, we need more depth at our receiving core. So do you think that the Bills are talking to Gabe Davis to possibly bring him on board?
Yes.
And,
would there be another reason to do it?
No, I'd absolutely look at it as the reason why they would want to do that. He's already got rapport with Josh.
I can't imagine there's any reason to have a meeting with Gabe Davis if you didn't want to consider having him on your team. I doubt it's for nostalgia.
But teams, I think, sometimes will bring guys in and make it known that they're seeing him to just sort of help the process along for the guy. That could be it. But the way that McDermott's talking, we even talked about what he said about receiver today, which was also as somewhat as pointed as what he said about safety. Like, we know who the top 3 are. The rest of it is like, we got a bunch of guys, and I don't know who's going to be on the team at this point. So the Davis thing could be for later down the road, too, if he's had health problems. Let's just see where he's at. Is he healthy? And if we get to a point where we feel we need him, at least we know what he is, like what kind of condition he's in. So, like, I don't know. I didn't take it as like that, they're going to bring him in here and sign him tomorrow. They could, I suppose. I mean, I don't, it's not laughable that they would do that, but I'm not expecting it. I guess I would be surprised if he ended up on the roster this quickly. I think it's more like, let's just keep up on how he's doing, and if we get in a situation where we need a guy and he's still available, we know where he's at.
Okay. Be hard to know the difference if they don't do it. Well, I mean, it's be hard to know the difference if they don't sign it between that and, he didn't pass his physical with Jacksonville. It's just not there.
Right.
But if Allen wants him, I think he'll be a Bill. feel like it'll be up to him.
Yeah.
Is that obnoxious to say? It always feels obnoxious to say, but I have to admit that's how I feel sometimes when it comes to the receivers. You know, he got who we wanted in the draft a couple times. You know, Davis was a really good Bill. You know, he did a lot. It's Twitter, but Twitter always reads to me like everybody just decided they hated him around here, and I don't get it. Like, he wasn't perfect. 4th round pick. Man, he had some huge moments for this team. He was important. You know, he was important.
Yeah, I'm not against. If he's healthy, I don't have a problem putting him on my team, I don't think. But who am I putting him on the team in place of?
Yeah, right.
Right? Like, if he's got health problems and I'm soured on Curtis Samuel because of health problems, what am I doing? You know, but my biggest issue with Gabe Davis was always I was not going to want to pay him what he was going to get for a second contract,
right,
for what he is as a player. And that's over. Like,
no argument with that.
You don't have to worry about that anymore because you're going to get him he's getting paid a ton of money from Jacksonville still this year. So he's veteran minimum if you sign him. So money's not an object there. It's more, you know, how much do you trust him to be healthy? Because really, when he started maybe going the wrong way with the fans here, health was maybe what the biggest problem was for him.
Mm-hmm. Sal Capaccio coming up at 4. Thanks for your calls. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog, WGR.
Something better, yeah, right. Now you're cooking on high heat in the middle of the street. Roller coaster, take me to a better time. Let's go. All sing your high line with the roller coaster of life. Yeah. It's time to all choose your timeline on the roller coaster of life.
Welcome back. Sal Capaccio to join us in about 10 minutes. Let's go to Justin first. Hi, Justin. Justin? Oh, that is a big disappointment.
How big?
Like a 2.5. I don't know the guy. I'm not saying anything. Just a random guy not there when you go to him.
Yeah.
It's a smaller big disappointment.
Okay.
Catch Bulldog at Fenway Park. You can see Sal at Wrigley Field. You can bump into me at Crumble Cookie Military near the outlets. So we're all getting out there, doing stuff. Fenway?
First rate. Great trip. We had a great time. The seats were great. It was just one. I thought being in the ballpark again would be really nice for me, and it was. And Owen really enjoyed himself. He'd never been there, and we had a fantastic day. It really was everything I could hope. Perfect day, and the Red Sox won.
What kind of game was it?
Kind of a blowout that got tight. It was 7-0. And ended up 7-5. Here comes the closer to get the final out because there's like maybe tying run at the plate even.
Okay, you stayed to the end
in the ninth. Oh yeah. We were not gonna bail out.
I have not been here in forever.
Yeah.
I'm loving every minute of this. Let's leave.
There could have been a breaking point. We had dinner reservations for 8:00, so the game did last into the 7:00 hour. So we made it right on time to dinner. So if it had gotten a little bit later, I might have felt like, you better start walking. But it was fantastic.
Very good.
Really great. Did a little touristy stuff, which I don't have the best reputation for maximizing my time. Most of my adult life, a day like that would have been, and we flew, so we were there at 9 a.m. But even 9 a.m, okay, is there a bar open? And instead, we just walked around the north end of the city and just had a great early morning and early afternoon, and then went to a baseball game. It was really great.
Your best bet for a bar at that hour is maybe the one in the airport.
Right.
They're open, right? Isn't that usually the case?
That definitely is the case. Although, I don't know, once you've arrived, I'm not sure you have access to that.
Depends on the airport.
Yeah, right.
Sal next here on WGR.
Folks, Bulldog here for Excelsior Orthopedics. If you are struggling with muscle, bone, or joint pain, now is the time to do something about it. Excelsior Orthopedics can help. Whether you were hurt playing a sport yesterday or have a chronic condition from a lifetime of hard work, the experts at Excelsior deliver world-class orthopedic care that can get you back to doing the things you love to do. Take the first step. Schedule online at excelsiorortho.com or call them up at 250-9999. Excelsior Orthopedics, your first place for complete orthopedic care.
stopped me on the street last night, said everything's alright. Roller coaster, make it through the day upright. It seems your meal ticket is gone, but life goes on. I could never imagine something better. Yeah, right.
The Buffalo Bills got back to work today to get ready for their final preseason game this Saturday against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. 6 players did not practice, including rookie Jordan Hancock. Head coach Sean McDermott with the media before practice said the early projection is that Hancock will not be able to play this weekend. And the Bills, they also announced some roster moves. They have waived cornerback Corey Couch and wide receiver Caden Prather, while they have signed running back Javarian Howard and wide receiver Grant Dubose. And then running back Darrington Evans has been placed on IR. We'll get more on today. Sal Capaccio will join the show next. Staying with the Bills, though, their former wide receiver Gabe Davis having his second visit with the Steelers today, and then following that, he'll be meeting with the Bills tomorrow. The Colts do have their starting quarterback. It is Daniel Jones. And then Bucs head coach Todd Bowles confirmed wide receiver Jalen McMillan is set to miss a significant portion of the regular season with a neck injury. And then in baseball, Bison's in action at home tonight versus Scranton just after 6:30. That game can be heard on our sister station, the Bet 1520. While the majors, Blue Jays at Pirates and Mets at Nationals will both get going just after 6:40, while the Yankees, they are down in Florida versus the Rays just after 7:30. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet celebrating 90 years of being your hometown dealership. I'm Zach Jones for WGR Sports Radio 550.
Well, we'll ask Sal here. Already today, Bulldog and I have drawn comparisons. Sean McDermott this morning versus Sean McDermott early last week when he had an injury list and he had sort of an edge to him, it seemed. And I think maybe that's true today too, but I wasn't there. Sal Capaccio with us now on the West Her hotline. I think we're looking for that other safety, is one quote from McDermott today. Mm-hmm. Not exactly, Sal, pretending or even sort of just like softening when it comes to what his concern really might be at that position.
No, you're right. I think the wording is really interesting. And after the game, he said we still have to see what we need there. And now today saying we're still looking. Look, I think that their first place to look is still what they believe is in-house, right? They want that to work. They want it to work with Cole Bishop. They still have a few weeks here, a little bit less than 3 weeks, to have themselves feel comfortable about where he is with Taylor Rapp, or at least comfortable enough where he's the guy. And if not, is it Jordan Hancock? Is it Cam Lewis who's on the roster, right? I mean, is it Derek Forrest? There's still in-house candidates that I think are the number one options here to make it work. But that starts with Cole Bishop being available. It starts with Cole Bishop obviously being on the field and seeing him perform in practice, much less maybe a game on Saturday where you have one game left there. From there, who knows? If you don't feel comfortable there, what are the options? Are you looking to sign somebody as a free agent? Are you looking to trade for somebody? A week from right now, guys, literally a week from 6 minutes ago, is the roster cutdown date. And that's when maybe things shake free. But at that point, are you bringing someone in to start, less than 2 weeks later against the Baltimore Ravens? I doubt it.
Right, yeah. What do you suppose... How curious do you find it that McDermott is being as blunt as he is about this? I asked Mike earlier, does this not sound like somewhat of a departure for him? I appreciate the honesty, but he's making no bones about the fact that a team that has big-time Super Bowl aspirations isn't real sure about a starting spot less than 3 weeks away from a game. I find that kind of startling.
Yeah, I agree with you on one sense, which is that's pretty out there and honest and upfront when a lot of times you get more generalities when it comes to things like that. I also think that he's saying it because I think there's messaging going on, right? Which is like we talked even about like Curtis Samuel and saying like it's go time and getting back on the field. I think this is messaging to Cole Bishop. It's messaging to everybody in the room that it's on you. We need someone here to step up. We need someone here to show us. Cole Bishop, show us you can be available. Show us you know exactly what you're doing. Jordan Hancock, you keep progressing as a rookie. You need to step up. Like this is now a time where this is open, and we're still looking for it, and we're still looking at it. So I agree with you that it is a bit of a departure there from the way he normally talks. But I think there's some messaging going on through the media as well, the way I interpret it, kind of the way he's doing this.
What do you see in Bishop here, Sal? I mean, some of this, if not most of it, is about reliability. You know, this is also a player that's been unavailable to McDermott, which I think was a lot of his frustration, how he sounded last week. And really today, it's an important part, I think, of what he said about Bishop and his options at safety. What about this player? Like, what you think he's shown to this point, and how much of this uncertainty, maybe to put it mildly, at the position has to do with injuries, and how much of it might have to do with performance?
Well, I think that the injuries are a really big deal because he does not have all of that time on task they talk about, all of that chemistry developing with Taylor Rapp or anybody else next to him. I know DeMar and him more so, playing a little bit last year when he started to get back, and other guys. But anyway, I do think the performance has been lacking, though, when he's been on the field a little bit. Sunday night, was a bit of an example of that. I mean, there was a couple of plays where he's got to be able to make that play. In the AFC Championship game against the Kansas City Chiefs, there was a very controversial play that he could have made against Xavier Worthy. They gave Xavier Worthy the catch. You guys remember that play. Mm-hmm. But little things like that, like those are little plays where maybe you're just a little bit tick off on what you could make in that situation. So I do think that the play – now, look, it hasn't all been bad. I remember going back last year and thinking, oh, boy, that was a nice run fit by Cole Bishop, like in a couple games he played. So I do think that it's there. And I think McDermott even said that today. Like he said today, and I have to go back and get the exact quote, something like we've seen that talent and ability. Like that's shown up. It has to be like more consistent. And I agree with that, but he's got to be available for that consistency to show up, and I think that's part of the problem.
Right, yeah. The injuries prohibit him from developing any kind of consistency because he just doesn't have the opportunity to be out there. So it's all one big ball of frustration. Boy, the timing on Hancock getting hurt is really tough because I feel like for him and maybe even for the team, they might have been opening the door for him to walk right through if he could play in this game in Tampa, and that's even in doubt now because he got hurt in the third quarter of the game on Sunday, right?
Yes. McDermott said that the indications are he doesn't think he'll be ready for the game this week. So good news that, saying it that way kind of leads me to believe he should be pretty available after that, right. And no concerns for week one. He was on the exercise bike today. He was out there on the side doing some work. So that's good news. That's encouraging. But no doubt you'd love to see him be able to play and get reps on Saturday to truly see what you have.
This might just be indulgent because we've talked about this so many times. It's not even relevant anymore. But it does this, quandary the Bills have at safety. It takes me back to Hyde and Poyer. And it was never... I did my best to not take them for granted when it came to the Bills. Like they tell you, like I referenced earlier to Bulldog, how, hey, make sure you're focused on your kids because before you know it, they'll have moved out. And like, what more can I do here besides constantly think about that? It's just there's only so much you can do. And when Hyde and Poyer were on the field, Sal, they never missed a play. You got everything. You had reliability, you had leadership, you had everything. Plays. And it makes sense to think that when that is over, you'd have it could be a little bit bumpy. It doesn't have to be. But this can make you really appreciate how good you had it.
I agree. And Sean was asked that today about those guys and having them and the consistency and how important it is to develop that. And there's no doubt. And nobody's ever shied away from that. And the Bills have always talked openly about that. But I think that from fans and media, from the outside looking in, you say, taking for granted, you don't want to, but surely, there's some of that, right? Because it was just so consistent all the time. You knew those guys were back there, and they were such the backbone of what the Buffalo Bills did. And even if you go back to, I think part of it, too, is you go back to Sean McDermott's days in Carolina, You go back to Sean McDermott's days in Philadelphia. It's always seemed like that position has been pretty buttoned up for him, right? Maybe save a year here, a year there. You go back to all his time through what you just said with Poyer and Hyde here. As a defensive coach, he's just always had good safety units. And I think it's because he's had good talent. I also think it's because he's a good defensive coach, and especially for that particular group. So I think that's where a lot of this comes in, where here you have this coach who's done a really excellent job with that position group, and he's had these talented players, and I don't think all of it is just the players' talent walking in. And let's remember, guys, Jordan Poyer was kind of thrown into the trash heap by both Cleveland and Philadelphia before he came to Buffalo.
Yeah.
Right? Micah Hyde, they let him go. Green Bay said, let him go sign with the Buffalo Bills. I don't think you just say, well, he's had these guys who just walk in and be great safeties and make them look good. I don't think that's the case at all.
That's right.
And I think that's part of the frustration overall, which is this should be a position, and it's always been a position for this particular coach where they've been really good at developing players and having good players.
Well, we know this much, or we can guess. In 19 days, Bishop will cut in front of a slanting Isaiah Likely and catch and pick off Lamar Jackson so that we can hear Chris Collinsworth lay into everybody for questioning him and not mention that it's actually his own coach doing it. But, if we have to take that bullet,
right,
then we will.
Do you think Isaiah Likely is going to play week 1?
Okay, I should have picked someone else. That's
Rashad Bateman.
Right.
How's
fine.
that? Is that good?
My mistake.
What are you doing with Bishop on Bateman? Sorry. Sal, where is Derek Forrest in all of this? Because, it's a second off season in a row where, last year was the first year they were going to be without Hyde and Poyer as a tandem, and they brought Mike Edwards in, veteran guy, familiarity with system, all that kind of stuff, and a lot of the same things were said about Forrest this year, and, neither guy, like Edwards was a ghost with this team last year, and it feels to me Forrest played, I think 30-some snaps on Sunday, but I don't know, I don't feel like he's really an option. Am I overlooking him, or has he been kind of a nothing burger this summer?
Yeah, I don't feel like he's much of an option. I don't think he's really stepped up and taken a hold of a role that might have been there for him to be able to do that. Feels to me like he's more of a kind of break glass in case of emergency, depth guy, special teams player. At this point, if I'm projecting out a 53, he's probably pretty much right at that cut line, and I have to decide, is he going on? Is he not going on? He's probably that guy, and part of that is because they have Cam Lewis, guys, and Cam Lewis, and Damar Hamlin, obviously, right? And I think Damar Hamlin right now is the third safety. That's what he is. So if you're not going to have Cole Bishop, and obviously maybe it could be Jordan Hancock when he's healthy, right? But Damar Hamlin's a guy that out of the next group, you're looking at Taylor Rapp, Cole Bishop, I think Damar Hamlin, and Jordan Hancock, because I think Cam Lewis is more of your backup nickel who can play safety. Where does that leave Derek Forrest? I just don't think there's a spot for him right now in this roster the way I look at it.
Sal Capaccio on the West Her hotline. Some roster movement. I want to ask you about Gabe Davis here in that report in a minute, but we have is it Caden Prather is gone, the 7th round pick? What else is new?
Yeah, let me explain how this is going to work now with Caden Prather, the 7th round wide receiver they chose. He has been waived injured. And the reason why he's been waived injured, the reason we have to put it that way, is because all players who have less than 4 years have to be put on waivers before they can put on injured reserve at this time of year. So he has to actually clear waivers. So they waive him with an injury designation. By tomorrow afternoon, any team can claim him, and he will go to that team. But because he's injured, a team would have to be confident enough to claim him and put him on the roster, and they're going to have to make decisions on him anyway. So, most likely, I would say at this point, he clears waivers. What happens then? He comes back to the Bills. He reverts back to the Bills, and then the Bills can put him on injured reserve, and he just stays on there all year. And then he gets a redshirt year, and he could stay on there. Or they could say, we're not really a guy that we want, and they can give him an injury settlement. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's still on the Bills but on IR for his entire rookie year.
And what else happened roster-wise today? Because there's a running back that was brought in who almost immediately got hurt, I think I read.
Jarvion Howard is his name, and the Bills signed him. I believe he had played a little bit in the UFL, but he was with the Packers, I think, as well. We go out to practice. I mean, I don't know how injured he was, but right away, pretty early on, I see him talking with trainers, looking at his calf, and he was on the sidelines with trainers. So not really sure where that went, and that may be something that, they're going to have to revisit here in another way. We'll see where it goes. Grant Dubose also signed. I would think that both these guys, if healthy, are really to kind of help you get through this week. You need guys to get through this week. You need guys. You're not going to be putting the top end of your depth chart out on the field most likely. I don't think starters are going to play, and even then, you want to back off on the next wave of guys if you can as much as possible. So you're going to need guys in the back end of the depth chart to make sure they eat up some snaps this week.
Did I see the name Ricky Person? Was he looked at? What was that today? Running back? I saw his name.
I believe he was in for a visit. I believe he was in for a visit.
Maybe he's next man up with this guy that just got hurt, right?
Maybe. By the way, Darrington Evans was placed on injured reserve. Now, he does not have to go through waivers because he's been in the league longer than 4 years. So in his case, the Bills just put him right on injured reserve, and then at some point, if they want, they can come up with an injury settlement, and then he would be free to sign with another team. Bulldog,
the other day in the main event, fantasy $2,000 entry, a guy picked Ricky Person, meaning to pick Ricky Pearsall.
Oh, boy.
And, raised his hand in the chat and said,
I thought about this.
Misclick, sorry. And they wouldn't undo it because they don't undo it for misclicks. Like you can tell them your power went out. They'll fix it for you.
Yeah.
So the guy ended up picking Pearsall in the next round. Had to have him.
Wow. So how about Gabe Davis, Sal? What do you make of his visiting, what Allen had to say about the idea, what kind of role, if it were to go really well? I mean, obviously everyone knows one another here. What do you make of him coming in for a visit?
It's interesting. I think that there's a lot of ways to look at this. Is it because the Bills don't have confidence in the players they have? Sure, you could look at it that way. I mean, Sean McDermott said today the top three on the depth chart are pretty set at wide receiver. After that, they're figuring it out. Well, I think that opens up the door for Gabe Davis or anyone to kind of, if there's somebody out there they feel can help this team, they bring him in. And that's what the job is of the general manager, to figure out if there is somebody who can come in to help the team. Gabe Davis was released with an injury designation back in May. He is still rehabbing that injury, from what I understand. He's getting close, to being healthy enough, and maybe he is healthy enough. And what I'm trying to say is, teams have been reluctant to sign him, I think, because he just hasn't been fully healthy. But who knows? Maybe he goes to Pittsburgh today, they look at him, he's healthy. He comes to Buffalo, they look at him, he's healthy. At some point here, there's going to be a time where Gabe Davis is going to present to teams that he's healthy enough, and teams are going to have to make a decision. Is that today? I don't know. It seems like it's a little premature because first and foremost, you'd have to make sure the guy is healthy, and then secondly, you're coming down to next week is roster cuts. I read this as the Bills are going to do their due diligence on Gabe Davis. Why Gabe Davis? Well, he's a guy that they drafted, they developed. They would have loved to have kept him, but obviously he got paid, and there's nothing wrong with that, and he went somewhere else. He is a guy that fits everything about what they like. For right or wrong, and I know he's a very polarizing player for Buffalo Bills fans, Gabe Davis won the Iron Bill 2 years in a row. He hardly ever came off the field because he's a willing blocker. He checks all the boxes that the Buffalo Bills love about having a wide receiver, and especially a guy they developed. Does not surprise me at all that they would revisit a guy like Gabe Davis in that situation. The money-wise, well, he was already paid $11.5 million by the Jacksonville Jaguars. He's got that money. He's got that cash. Any money he signs with another team just offsets that, but he's getting paid that money this year. So really, I would think any team who wants to sign him could just say, we'll give you the vet minimum, which is $1.2 million, I believe, and that's all you got to take on your cap. So it makes it pretty palatable if a team wants to do that. And then for me, what might really happen here is you check him out, you see if he's healthy, and if he is, maybe you wait to see what shakes free next Tuesday or where you are in that process leading up to it, and then you decide if that's a player you want versus somebody else who might be out there.
Right. I feel like having him, knowing where he's at, trusting him is even, if he doesn't get signed imminently here, then it's something, if it comes up even sometime between cut down and the opener, at least that's a guy that's pretty plug and play in your system. The question I'm curious about is, I don't believe was he a special teamer at all? Like, could he be Mac Hollins for this team?
I don't think so. No, I don't remember him playing a lot of special teams, maybe early in his career, to be honest with you.
Right.
It doesn't feel like he would be that type of player, though.
Okay.
Did you guys think, I don't know how much football you watched over the few days, did you guys think that we saw enough evidence in week 2 of the preseason that teams really don't want to kick touchbacks? It seemed like every kickoff I saw, maybe kickers are working on it, especially, point of emphasis, not into the end zone on the fly, and it seemed like every kickoff I saw was that.
I saw a lot of line drive kickoffs, too.
Yeah, do you guys have, Mike, do you have any actual data on it so far right now?
No.
Do you know that?
I don't. I'm not into data. I just like to sort of take guesses and watch.
Well, because I am curious, because what I was going to say is if you do have the data, I do think what you're saying is right. Like, I think that teams are going to not kick touchbacks as much. However, I'm willing to bet you that you see more in the regular season than you do now. One of the reasons why teams are not doing it as much now would be they want to evaluate their guys on special teams.
Good point. Yep.
Not just the kicker. Like, you got to see if I'm going to keep a guy at the back end of my roster, can he make a tackle when that ball isn't kicked in the end zone? If I'm going to keep a guy on my roster, can he block a guy when my guy's got to return it behind him? So I think that teams are intentionally not kicking it in the end zone right now because they're trying to figure out what they want to do. They don't want to give up the field position, but maybe most importantly is they're trying to evaluate their roster.
Bills didn't get much of a chance to evaluate this on Sunday night. One kickoff was the opening kickoff of the game, and they didn't score.
Only got to the 7-yard line.
Right. The Bears, right, and then they went right down the field.
Yeah, because that guy touched the ball, and then it went in the end zone, and he had to bring it out. Right. Yeah.
Well, he did not have to. See, that's a great learning point for him.
20. Could have been the 20, right?
That's correct. He could have knelt him on the 20, but it's also a good talking point for all of us, right? Because what happens in that situation with all these new rules? He could have knelt on it, and he would have got the ball at the 20. Credit for Eric Wood, by the way. He was on it. He knew right away what the rule was. But I don't know if the Bears guy knew what the rule was.
Right.
Maybe not. Didn't slow him down.
No.
That's right. That's how the game started. Okay. Is there practice tomorrow? I think yes.
Yes, practice tomorrow. Back on the field tomorrow. We did have some, notes as far as injury updates for today. Keontae Jenkins, Connor McGovern, Nelson Caesar, Eddie Ulofoshio, and Javon Solomon all, I believe, were in the day-to-day bucket. The limited bucket.
Mm-hmm.
I did see Connor McGovern doing some stuff, individual work today, so that was good. And we saw Curtis Samuel out there doing both 11-on-11 and 7-on-7 today, and that's really encouraging. They need him, to be out there and performing. And he actually even took a short pass and went a long way on one of them, which was nice to see.
Right, and didn't McDermott even say that he would be limited? But you said you saw him doing everything, so that
and he still could have been limited in the what he normally would do stuff. You know what I mean?
Right.
But yes, I saw him during the team portion playing in both 7-on-7 and 11-on-11. Reps wise, I don't know. Maybe they limited him. But he definitely did all that.
He'll be interesting Saturday. I mean, the echo chamber right now is everybody telling each other they think he might get cut, right, Samuel? So here's a veteran in the final preseason game. Is there something they're going to need to see in this game? Has it been decided? I wonder. Because you're still – I'm guessing you're not seeing Allen again. Maybe you do, but he hasn't played yet. And, Elijah Moore had pass at his feet, like a drop maybe even you'd call it early in that game. Nothing is happening with these guys. We've been trying to figure out all offseason who's competing with whom and what the pecking order is. Nothing is happening for them. We had a couple of plays against the Giants. You had a couple of big hits against the Giants with Shavers and Hamler. But past that, that's not confusing to hear McDermott talk like after the top three. They got to figure it out, because we don't know yet what it really is. Okay. Thank you, Sal. We'll talk again tomorrow.
Thanks, guys.
That's our man, Sal Capaccio, on the Wester Hotline. His appearances are brought to you by New York's only outlet liquor. When you need to stock up, it's the place to buy a case. What's your outlet?
803-0550 for your calls. Cole Bishop, a topic of conversation. We spent a lot of time on Sean McDermott's declared concern at safety as we started today. The Gabe Davis idea is interesting, too. We'll get to that and maybe hear from you next. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog, WGR.
got to all choose your timeline with the roller coaster of life. Roller coaster. I want to go down the rabbit hole, down the rabbit hole of life. And now it's about to leave. Oh, roller coaster. We've been living in sin so long, all the feels are gone. Fella stopped me on the street last night, said everything's alright. Roller coaster, make it through the day upright. It seems your meal ticket is gone, but life goes on. I could never imagine something better. Yeah, right. Now you're cooking on high heat in the middle of the street. Roller coaster, take me to a better time. Let's go! All sing your high line with the roller coaster of life. Yeah. It's time to all choose your timeline on the roller coaster of life. You seem to easily forget how to place your bet. When everyday life gets you down, you gotta steal the crown.
Back to practice today for the Buffalo Bills. They get ready for their final preseason game down in Tampa this Saturday. 6 players did not practice. That includes rookie Jordan Hancock. Head coach Sean McDermott before practice said that the early projections is for Hancock to not be available to play this weekend. The Bills, they also announced some roster moves. They have waived cornerback to Corey Couch and wide receiver Caden Prather. Running backs Javarian Howard and wide receiver Grant DuBose signed with the team, while running back Darrington Evans has been placed on IR. And for more on today, Sal Capaccio has a piece up at our website, WGR550.com. Former Bills wide receiver Gabe Davis having his second visit with the Steelers today. Following that, he's going to be meeting with the Bills tomorrow. And the Colts, they have their starting quarterback, head coach Shane Steichen, named former Giants quarterback Daniel Jones. Tage Thompson, Alex Tuck, they are among 44 players attending the U.S. Men's Olympic Orientation Camp this month in Michigan. And then the Bisons, they are in action at home tonight versus Scranton just after 6:30. And that game can be heard on our sister station, the Bet 1520. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Headlines. Paddock Chevrolet celebrating 90 years of being your hometown dealership. I'm Zach Jones for WGR Sports Radio 550.
From the time he's come back, it's just been a short runway to this point. He continues to improve. There's so many subtle things that come up, even in the practice the other day against the Bears. It looked like a good practice, and then there's a little thing here that had he not practiced, he would not have experienced. So that adds callous to his experience and his resume, if you will. You know, he has shown to this point that the ability, the skill level can be there. We're just not there yet. And so his refining process, if you will, goes one day at a time, one rep at a time, and we're just kind of getting started because of what wasn't with his availability affects that.
Sean McDermott on Bills' second-year safety, Cole Bishop. It all sounds very reasonable, I think. You know, McDermott would not have an extra grind with this player. He wants to get him there. It all seems very reasonable. You know, where does that leave us? What do we do? That all made sense. Gabe Davis. So the report is he'll be in tomorrow for a visit. he went to Pittsburgh today for a second visit.
Right.
And we talked about this with Sal a few minutes ago, coming off an injury settlement, if that's the right term. I mean, he was released.
Waived injured is how
Waived
Sal put
injured.
it.
Okay. By Jacksonville. He went to Pittsburgh a while ago, and one of the possible outcomes here that you guys have brought up is, well, we don't know that the Bills will necessarily want to sign him, but they'll have intel. They'll know where he's at with his body.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm guessing that Pittsburgh, who already had him there, had enough interest. I mean, just sort of common sense.
Yeah, let's
to bring him back.
Yeah, how
get
much?
An update.
Are you better from a month or two ago? Whenever he was there, so I feel like that was pretty shortly after he'd been released. So I feel like that was earlier in the spring. So if he's progressed enough, they must like the idea enough to want to take another look at him.
That's what I would.
Maybe he doesn't even get here, but whatever.
Right. We like you, but we don't know yet.
Right.
Let's see how you look, a month later or whatever it is. Here is Justin next. Hello.
Hey, guys. The Cole Bishop thing, and I know Schopp touched on this a little bit, but McDermott has a different way of motivating his players. We know he's, smarter than really most of us we're talking here. But, is this kind of a Jedi mind trick? We know that Hancock's not going to play. He knew that coming into this final preseason game. Is this kind of like the kick in the pants, to kind of let Cole know that you got one chance. You got one chance left to kind of impress us and show us, what you can do. I think by doing that, they put the onus on him that if this third strike, kind of he just proves he's not ready. And I'm going to hang up here and listen, but just about Gabe Davis real quick. I think Bills fans should be ecstatic. I think that we should have hoped that he came to us today instead of Pittsburgh. I would take 8 games of a healthy Gabe Davis over some of these unknowns we have in the mix for receiver right now. We really haven't had explosive plays down the field since he left, other than, when Shakir can get loose. And I don't know. What do you guys think, man? I think I would take a half a season from Gabe over some of these other guys who, if they play 16 or 17 games, are just kind of average contributors. I'll hang up, guys. Thanks. Go Bills.
Okay. The explosive plays went away while Davis was still here. I think it started, and it might be more of a league-wide thing, but there's no question that the Bills last year did not have a downfield passing game, and Davis was a downfield threat. So I think that's fair. Whether I'm trying to get you back within the coloring in the lines that meet my approval, whatever, I think that stands. I don't know about ecstatic. This is a player that's now a couple of years older than he was when he left, that has had injury problems, and I don't know. I mean, Curtis Samuel, healthy, should have a higher ceiling and be a big play threat for this team. Whether it's down the field or not is another question. I don't know. I'm going to struggle with ecstatic. I think Gabe Davis probably gets a harder time than he deserves from the fans. And I was never his biggest fan, so I don't know. I'm way short of ecstatic. I'm open to it, I guess. But to me, it's a bad sign for how it's going at receiver. And so, you want to revisit the draft conversation and pouring resources into it if on August 19th you're you're bringing in someone who you didn't want to pay 2 years ago and has had injury problems really since. I don't know. That doesn't make me feel anything close to ecstatic. It makes me feel like maybe there's more of a crisis going on at receiver than we ever thought. So, I don't know. It doesn't excite me, but I'm not going to be mad if he ends up back here at some point. I don't know if that's imminent or not. I forgot what the rest was now.
Well, I want to say something about the caller's comments about McDermott, but first, it's always both things. This happened a lot last year with Claypool and all those guys. It was, you could look at it as a negative, and it seemed fair to. Man, they really don't love what they've got. But also as a positive, that they're not going to fake it. They're not going to sit there, standing pat and tell you that they're all set. mean, the Bills increasingly seem more forthcoming. Bean always wants to tell you the real score, and McDermott is doing plenty of that these days. So, he literally today brought that into question, what the Bills' depth at receiver is and how they're just like, they're not fully made there. So I want to give them credit for not pretending that they're in better shape than they are. But yeah, I mean, they're grasping a little bit, and they were last year too. And how did it turn out? Samuel was not much of a contributor. Hollins probably gave you the best year you could have hoped for from him. I mean, he seemed like a special teamer at signing until they started to talk about his kind of taking Davis's spot. It was only last year when Davis left.
Yep.
And Coleman was okay. They went and got Amari Cooper, also seemingly showing that they were not all set at the position. And now it's Palmer and Elijah Moore. That hasn't been anything yet.
No. Yeah, I mean, is there? I really see. I shouldn't say I don't want to start something by saying this because I don't know. I want to ask whether or not how McDermott sounds about Bishop and safety in general. And about receiver, we don't really know who 4, 5, and 6 are, I think is what he said. We know who 1, 2, and 3 are. I don't know. Is he putting stuff in a basket to leave at the GM's door here at all? I mean, it's stark. Like, he could be, the caller's asking, the other part of the call was, what is he doing with Bishop? Is it motivation? And that's Sal's guess, too. And, yeah. But there's frustration in there, I think. And I don't know it could be directed solely at the players or just the situation in general. I got this guy that's really talented. I'm talking about Bishop here, and I can't get him off yet. I can't find the buttons to press because they're wrapped up in gauze. He's a frustrated sounding guy right now, and I don't know. I wonder about that.
I hear you working. You want to use Coleman and Kincaid after the season too?
Sure.
Right?
Sure. So,
whatever.
I'm just asking if anybody is contemplating whether that's a part of this at all.
It'd be really hard to say yes.
Because the heat is all on him. Mostly, right? Like, their failures in the playoffs, Bean does not get the blame for that. I mean, there's the guy earlier, the second-round picks, and, missing, and trading that off for hits with Saturday picks. But McDermott bears the brunt of the failures. And if the guys that are being chosen here to help him finish this job aren't available to him, and he doesn't know who his second 3 wide receivers are 3 weeks before they play a game, I don't know. That's stark.
I think Bean might get more of the blame than you're saying, because the whole wide receiver thing isn't McDermott. You don't hear people so much complain about that they didn't push the ball more, or even in that game. It gets said. Then you hear about, what's available. It is more the roster, I think. It's the players they've chosen. Bean was in, when he got hot, he talked about how they have made an effort. It's only part of the criticism is the perceived lack of effort. It's also the literal choices you're making. Coleman versus Worthy, et cetera, Kincaid versus other possibilities then. So I think it's both. You're not even accusing him. You're sort of just speculating whether McDermott is frustrated with his roster.
Yeah.
And maybe. I mean, it's been so many years. There'd be times when you would. There'd be times when you disagree on draft picks and other moves. That would just be normal, I think. And I think too much of what he's talking about is injury related, that it'd be hard to pin that on anybody.
Mm-hmm.
You could pin that on the players. I wonder if he sort of, the way he's wired takes him back to days, and this isn't that long ago, where guys would play through what they're just categorically not playing through anymore in this climate. You know, preseason, training camp, you turn an ankle, here comes the cart, goodbye.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not something you could either blame on anybody
the
else,
GM,
except
right.
except maybe the players. He might have a little bit of an edge to him when it comes to choices that maybe players have made here and there. But again, this is all.
Right. But assuming
guessing.
he's still choosing, assuming he's choosing to tell us these things, right? Like, it's not just coming out from frustration or anger. Like, what's his motivation? Is he trying to motivate Cole Bishop by telling the media that he needs him? I mean, he could tell Cole Bishop that in the locker room. He does not need to make the spectacle is too strong, but he doesn't need to make the point he made today the way he made it if what he's after is trying to light a fire under Cole Bishop to get him on the field.
He doesn't. I don't want at all to sound critical of McDermott for saying it, though.
I don't either. I want to find what the motivation is exactly.
And I think it could just be, like I said earlier, where he's just more relaxed and willing to tell you what's really going on, which is what I'm here for. You know, because I'll criticize when you don't do that. It's obvious. And we'll talk about how great New Orleans is going into Week 4. Although maybe they will be great. You've said it. Don't you have an overbet on the Saints?
My God, why do you plant lies?
Like this was a time to do it. Oh, why do I plant lies? What is the over-under on the Saints even? 2. maybe 4.5. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog. We'll get back to the phones next here on WGR.
We've been living in sin so long, all the feels are gone. Fella stopped me on the street last night, said everything's alright. Roller coaster, make it through the day upright. It seems your meal ticket is gone, but life goes on. I could never imagine something better. Yeah, right. Now you're cooking on high heat in the middle of the street. Roller coaster, take me to a better time. Let's go. All sing your high line with the roller coaster of life. Yeah. It's time to all choose your timeline on the roller coaster of life. You seem to easily forget how to place your bet. When everyday life gets you down, you gotta steal the crown. Got to own it. Don't bitch and moan about it, please. God forbid you scrape your knees, and it's nothing to sneeze at. Oh, I've told you over and over again. You gotta get both hands around it and make your own plans. Roller coaster, it's taking over. It's about time. Oh, all sing your high line on the roller coaster of life. You've got to all choose your timeline with the roller coaster of life. I want to go down the road.
Welcome back. Lots to talk about with the Bills. 803-0550. One more preseason game Saturday night in Tampa. And then on to the opener 19 days away. We'll see what this game in Tampa actually looks like.
Unwatchable is what I think it's going to look like.
Well, the last one came pretty close.
It probably will be unwatchable. That would be my prediction. Because nobody from Tampa is going to play. Nobody from it's going to be bad.
Yeah, the Bears had something they wanted to do, and I don't think the Bucs will have that.
That's a part of what happened. At least the beginning of Sunday is new coach, offensive guru. There's been reports of him being really hard on it. All right, let's show everybody what this car can do.
Yeah.
So they to their credit, I mean they got it. But yeah, I mean it was a mismatch right from the start.
It was. Bison's rained out tonight, by the way. Rain's expected through the evening, much of the area. So tonight's game will be a single admission doubleheader on Thursday at 6. Tomorrow's game at 1 remains a single game.
It looks like a chance of rain through right until like 10, 11 o'clock tomorrow morning.
What is going on?
Yeah, well, I'm of the age where I can say we need the rain.
Yes. I'm counting on you to be that person in the partnership.
We needed the rain.
Nick is with us. Hi, Nick. You're not wrong. Nick.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Good.
Good, man. Thanks.
I just wanted to talk about Gabe Davis. I disagree with the last caller's opinion that fans should be ecstatic. I know fans have been disappointed with the way the wide receiver room has looked since Diggs and Davis left. But for us now, we have money tied up with Curtis Samuel, Josh Palmer, Elijah Moore, all three of who are pretty unproven in Buffalo, I'd say. And Jacksonville, they like you guys mentioned, they waived him. But they are taking on an $11 million dead cap to make sure Gabe Davis doesn't play on their roster, and they were 4-13 last year. I'll hang up and listen to what you guys have to say, but that's just my opinion on it.
Okay. I don't. It's fair, I guess, but I don't want to what I think would be overreacting to that Jacksonville point. They cleaned house.
New coach.
They did the same thing with Christian Kirk. I don't know if they owed him money, but they flushed guys that didn't have to get flushed. And so that could be at least some part that, and probably is, and he wasn't healthy either. The fan, you don't sound like it exactly, Nick, but the fan voice on Gabe Davis to me is very weird. I don't know what the guy did to rub people the wrong way. I'm very much very much want to sound the way Sal did talking about Davis. Like, how did this guy fail you? And his leaving in free agency really was not a story. Like, that was going to happen the whole time, and he wasn't worth big money. This isn't to say that he was. It's just like there's vitriol when it comes to Davis, and I don't get it. 9th in Bills history in touchdown catches. I mean, he was a steal. And big plays. And I know they lose 13 seconds, but you're talking about one of the 5 to 10 greatest receiving performances in the history of the NFL playoffs, statistically at least. I mean, it came late, but that's better, isn't it? So, I don't know. There's some weird thing with him. The last season here was difficult. And it ended, and there was a lot of talk about his ankle, that he hurt his ankle early in the season, which I believe, and he missed a little bit of time with it, and then played through it. So I don't want to sound like I think everybody is one way when it comes to him, but I don't know. I feel a little bit grateful for him. Do I need him back? No, I don't need him back.
The ankle injury, I think, was the year before.
Okay, right.
I think it was
You're
year
right.
3, right?
I think that's right.
Anyway.
And then he played, well, I don't know. Because you're right, because we were talking about him off of a season coming back and whether that was the reason why he didn't do more the year before.
Whether he would come through or not. Yeah, he hurt the ankle coming off of the 13 seconds game.
And he did play 17 games his last year here.
Yeah. The reason I really would push back on his static is because of the overall. Like, where am I with this receiver room that is all set? Going back to the spring, if I'm calling Gabe Davis on August 19th.
Yeah, that's a different point, but that
has nothing to do with Gabe Davis. If I'm calling Amari Cooper today, I would say the same thing. Like, where's the GM to call our morning show and yell at them again? Like, I'm in such great shape at receiver that I call Gabe Davis 3 weeks before I have a game? Okay. I mean, again, that is not a criticism of Gabe Davis. It's really the overall. Like, what am I doing here? I don't think that's unfair.
No, I just think it's different. That's right. There's two different points. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog at 803-0550. This is WGR.
The Buffalo Bills were on the practice field today to get ready for their final preseason game this Saturday on the road versus Tampa Bay. 6 players did not practice. That includes rookie Jordan Hancock. Head coach Sean McDermott, with the media before practice, said the early projections is Hancock will not be able to play this weekend. The Bills also announced some roster moves. They have waived cornerback Corey Couch and wide receiver Caden Prather. Running back Javarian Howard and wide receiver Grant DuBose were signed, while running back Darrington Evans has been placed on IR. Sal Capaccio has more on today's practice up at our website, WGR550.com. Staying with the Bills, former wide receiver Gabe Davis is having a second visit with the Steelers today, and then following that, we'll have a visit with the Bills tomorrow. The Colts have their starting quarterback. Head coach Shane Steichen announced it will be Daniel Jones, and Bucs head coach Todd Bowles confirmed today wide receiver Jalen McMillan is going to miss significant portions of this regular season with a neck injury. No Bison's game tonight due to rain. Buffalo and Scranton will make that game up on Thursday, a single admission doubleheader. And then the majors, Blue Jays at the Pirates, Mets at the Nationals, both just after 6:40, while the Yankees, they are down in Florida to take on the Rays just after 7:30. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet, celebrating 90 years of being your hometown dealership. I'm Zach Jones for WGR Sports Radio 550.
It's Mike Schopp and the Bulldog.
They have this Panther sound effect that is just the cheesiest, stupidest sounding thing. Big voice guy going, Panther goal scored by Sam Reinhart. Where'd you get that thing?
I trapped it. Been keeping it in my bathroom at the motel, feeding it old pizza.
It's Mike Schopp.
If you're calm, that wondrous big cat will be calm too. But if you're scared, that beautiful death machine will do what God made it to do. Namely, eat you with a smile on its face.
And the Bulldog. On WGR Sports Radio 550.
Welcome back. We've got the Sunday night preseason debacle still out there to discuss. The Bills reportedly are bringing in Gabe Davis for a look into that idea or not. Into him. What did he do wrong? That's where we left off a little bit is like, I don't know, maybe I'm misreading the fan base here, but wouldn't be the first time. Just seems very negative toward him. And then the safety stuff, and part of the topic there, the discussion there, is Sean McDermott, just as you put it earlier, bluntly revealing, I think we're looking for that other safety. He doesn't know what he's got yet after Taylor Rapp. So that's not great. Lines open for your calls, 803-0550. We go to Dan next. Hello, Dan.
Hey, how you doing, guys? Good afternoon. Hey, a couple comments. The first on Cole Bishop. You know, I think we all knew coming out of the game we were going to get McDermott telling us exactly what he said. It wasn't up to our standards. And sometimes I feel like as a leader, as a coach, manager in a business, when you do what's expected, it doesn't have the same impact. So maybe one more comment from McDermott today in the media was just a, oh, crap, he's really serious type situation. And maybe it was just a way to change up what he normally says. My second point is on Davis. I don't think we can think that the Bills didn't want him last year. It was the cost. If Buffalo could have signed him last year for $2 or $3 million, he probably would have been on the Bills roster. And the fact that we could get him at a cheap cost this year because somebody else is eating the contract might be the only reason he is in town. So those are just my two comments.
Yep. I like that perspective on Davis, especially. Right. It just, that was never even remotely worth considering. Right? I mean, that depends on your opinion of the player. But
a second contract for him was never in the cards.
No. So the caller's right. It wasn't that they didn't like him so much.
Right, they always liked him.
Didn't like him at $11 million a year.
Right.
They don't have to like him at that right now because that's not what it would cost them now.
Right.
What it would be now, as you're right to sort of focus on, is what does it mean? What would change to their mix in the other direction if he were signed? You wouldn't sign him and just not have him active, right? This is a player that you want to get some percentage of what you used to get from Davis on the field. Big plays. And, what is that for Coleman, maybe? What is that for everybody? That's really interesting to ponder.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not against having another option that's proven. Whatever you think of whatever his ceiling may be now, whatever his ceiling was back then, like there were big plays there. But I don't want to displace Coleman at this point. Like I want Coleman to get as much as he can get. And we'll see. The reason you signed Davis is in case Coleman doesn't deserve that. Like if for some reason you can't depend on him. And I don't think anything that I'm hearing, reading, seeing myself indicates that is going that way. I think Coleman's been one of the great stories of camp this year. So I think they should be bullish on him, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't have some insurance in case, right? But you're not displacing Coleman from the lineup to start anyway. You're not displacing Josh Palmer. And so where am I? It's depth. It's Marquez Valdez-Scantling is really what it is. And he was on this team to start last year. So, you want to do that in place of Elijah Moore, who's had some drops in the preseason? All right, I'm open to it. But again, I'm gonna stand firm on, tell me how all set you are at receiver if this is what you're doing. Obviously you're not. And that doesn't mean you shouldn't act on it. But, you made such a spectacle about it, and, now is a weird time to go bargain hunting, I think.
The very day of that rant, that call by Bean to us that morning after the draft, like within minutes almost,
Moore, right?
There was the report about Elijah Moore. So, I've forgotten most of that episode, but, it's draft capital, but it's also your choices. And that's what's really under, I think, the microscope here, and this has come up from callers today, like with this team, is some of the choices. We just went through Elam being dumped, right? First-round pick, and they were done with him in, 2 years is all that lasted? Traded, I know, but really, they got out of it.
He got through a third season.
3?
Yeah.
Right, because it was Kincaid, and then Coleman was their first pick after that.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And that's been more of a discussion, really taking a hard look at their drafts the last couple of years. And you want Coleman to take a big step. You want Kincaid even to take a step, if not a big step. And Hairston is not off to the start because he's injured. Like that, that's NA right now, reading that. It's early for everybody. Right. It's just been more of a talking point this offseason, I think, is, well, how has this actually gone? Not just wide receiver, but the whole thing. Marquez Valdez-Scantling, you did it. You brought that up.
Yes, I did.
2 catches last year. There were a lot of names. A lot of guys have come and gone here at that position in the last couple of years. Not all of them made it to the regular season. MVS did.
Right.
He is in New Orleans, maybe.
I think that's right.
Seattle.
Right. Really? Seattle.
He went to New Orleans last season from here.
Okay.
And now he's in Seattle. There's a team looks pretty good so far. If you're into the preseason,
what does that mean exactly?
They have been dominant on offense in both games.
Right,
the Raiders and then the Chiefs.
I don't care.
No, you shouldn't.
Right, good. Thank you.
You shouldn't, but just thought of it. Seattle came up.
Yeah.
I thought I would mention it. Do I sound like I'm trying too hard on Davis in a positive light as a player here, or no? I think I'm doing that because of what fans tend to sound like to me about him.
Yeah. I don't know. You're maybe sounding a little more excited about it than I think you should. But that's partially because my frustration about it isn't really about him. It's more about the build of the team and the choices that have been made here. But that's keeping me from getting any objectively, without signing Josh Palmer and not drafting a receiver until the 7th round who got waived injured today. Separate from all of that, signing Gabe Davis does not move me at all. If they end up there, I don't think it will have minimal impact, I think is what I would expect. I don't know who he's going to play instead of. But again, insurance, like if that's someone you can trust and you can count on, if something happens to Coleman, like I'm not against that. I don't think he shows up and just takes his spot on the outside and becomes a guy that's never leaving the field again. I think that's over. They've replaced him twice, really, with Coleman and now Palmer. So I don't think there's a spot for him to have a significant role. But as a depth piece, like, okay, fine. I just don't think it's a very exciting idea. I think any receiver you're signing right now is, showing up and struggling to be involved, probably. And that's what I think he would be.
Yeah, I agree. I wouldn't call myself excited for the possibility of his return. I just want I wanted to get a fair shake.
You're
for what he
excited
did.
to defend him.
I'm excited to defend him for what he meant to the Bills.
That's what you
exactly. 9th in career touchdown catches for them, and he did it in fewer games than anybody else above him. Diggs played 2 more games for the Bills and had 10 more touchdown passes. That's Diggs. But all the other guys, are household names in Bills history, and there's Davis in the top 10. Not including playoffs where he had several more. Let's go to James next. Hi, James.
Hey, friends, how's it going? Just wanted to say, what do you think about like the Bills just because they're bringing in Gabe Davis for a free agent visit? Do you think it's just insurance just in case someone gets hurt and then they would sign him during the season? Just wanted to hear your thoughts on that.
That was my first guess was just do him the favor of bringing him in so that another team might say, oh, Gabe Davis is out there. Or some fan, oh, Gabe Davis is, talk about the guy, get a little buzz going. But second guess was, it's if we need a guy, after cut downs or we need whatever, it's a guy we're familiar with that we know what he is. And they want to check on his health. So, yeah, I don't think the timing of it is odd because of the way McDermott sounded about the bottom end of the receiving depth chart today, which was, pretty stark, as stark as he sounds about safety. It's not starting roles, but it's, who's filling out our team at receiver, we don't really know yet. And so on the heels of that, or even maybe it was before McDermott spoke that we knew Davis was coming to visit, but either way, it sounds like, oh, there's an opening there. And, okay. But yeah, I don't feel like he's going to walk in here tomorrow and be signed. But he could be. But I think it's just due diligence. Do we need a guy that fits? Like, does he fit a need for us? Does he fill a need for us in a depth capacity? Because I think that's what it would have to be right now.
Pittsburgh took a second look, and probably not literally, but I want to say close. If he is healthy and signed with the Steelers, he'd be their wide receiver 2.
Yeah, I think that's right.
It's Scotty Miller, and I guess Rodgers has to sign off on this because there's that element. But Roman Wilson, and there's one other guy who just nobody ever drafts.
But beyond DK Metcalf, there's not much happening there at receiver.
Right. John is next. Hello, John.
Hey, how you doing, guys?
Great, John. Thanks.
Great show. I love your show.
Thank you.
I'm going to throw it out there, and I'll let you guys talk about it a little bit. Gabe Davis, I think, would just only help the team with where we're at right now with receivers and people getting injured and not performing. But that's not my point. What I want to talk to you guys about is about Hamlin. I don't think he is a starting safety in the league. I think he's going to hurt us. He makes plays out of position. He does. He pushes the ball out. He gets fumble recoveries, interceptions, but he's usually out of position when he does it. But when we need him, he's just not there. And I'm just going to hang up and let you guys talk about it. And maybe I'm wrong, but it's just what I've been seeing over the last year and a half, 2 years. So I'm going to hang up and let you guys talk about it. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
All right. I think he's fine as a depth player. I think if you have to count on him to be your starter, I think you're just trying to get by. I think that's all you're going to do. And I thought that all last year. And I think the results, sort of speak for themselves overall. I'm going to pin the entire defensive performance on Damar Hamlin. But I think he's limited. That's the reason why you're counting on Cole Bishop to show up and be able to make more of an impact from back there. And I think if you end up in a spot where Hamlin is your starter, then organizationally you did not do a very great job of insulating yourself. We're talking here about insulating yourself at receiver. How bad of a sign is it if on August 19th you're considering going to go talk to Gabe Davis, and therefore I assume maybe considering even bringing him onto your team. It's not a great sign that the guy they brought in to be like the veteran insurance 2 years in a row at the position of safety after Hyde and Poyer are gone has failed to really be able to get on the field for this team on defense. That was Mike Edwards last year, and it's this Forrest guy this year. I don't think he's even really on the radar as an idea to play there. Like, so much so that when McDermott is going long talking about the crisis they're currently enduring at the position,
our word,
does anyone ever even ask him about that guy? Like, he's a plane that doesn't exist on the radar. It just doesn't, it's a nothing. And so that's not a great job. Like, if you want to make sure you've got that all buttoned up, you maybe want to do better, at least have a veteran guy who can at least give you something between what Hamlin is and what Bishop is supposed to be. And they failed to do that 2 years in a row.
And, if it's blame, we'll see how this ends. But if it's blame, it's got to be shared, right? I mean, it's the choice of the player in the first place, the performance of the player, whatever it is that, you're talking about, especially in Edwards' case, kind of a longer shot veteran idea. But, right, it never materialized into anything. And then, I guess, coaching, too, like not being able to get whoever we're talking about, including Bishop to this point, to a good enough place. Yeah, it's kind of all being said here. This is a second-round pick. Bishop, this is a second-round pick. And is it too dramatic to say they're kind of piling up? This came up a couple of hours ago, Bills draft picks where we're sort of waiting for it. And this player's been injured for much of the last couple of weeks here, but McDermott is waiting for it too. That seems pretty clear. Let's go to Denny. Hello.
Hey, guys. How you doing? Great show, as always. It's funny you brought up Hamlin, and I think of McDermott when I think of Hamlin. I mean, obviously, we all know the story with Hamlin. Both gentlemen are gentlemen. They're great people, great human beings. But really, Hamlin, playing the position it's a feel-good story, but it's not going to be something that's going to help this defense get over the top. And it's the same thing with McDermott. He brought this team back to, the winning ways, but I don't think they both fall short. Their niceness and their kindness and their just being great player personalities and player coaches, it's not going to be what's going to get this team over the hump. And I feel that way. I've been saying that for 3 years now with McDermott. And, Hamlin's career and how it went is very similar to that. Great feel-good stories, brought the Bills, he basically came back literally probably the greatest comeback story maybe of all the sports, but he's not a starter in the league. And McDermott brought this team back literally. I don't like using the word dead because I had open heart surgery 3 years ago. I take that stuff seriously, but he brought this team back to winning ways, but he's not going to be the coach that's going to take them over the top. And it's almost like a metaphor between how things are going with this team. They're good. They're going to make the playoffs every year, winning this division, but they're not going to be good enough to get over the hump with Hamlin certainly playing in the secondary as a starter, or if that's the case, and McDermott as the head coach. That's all I really got, guys. I appreciate listening to you.
Okay. He's too nice, is the theory.
Put it on the pile.
Put it on the pile. Here's Daryl next. Hi, Daryl.
Hey, good afternoon, guys. I just wanted to give a call. Gabe Davis, I wouldn't bring him back if that meant losing somebody like a Terrell Shavers. I just think Shavers' ceiling is a little higher than what Gabe was.
Shavers for me is still, thanks, Daryl. He's maybe the guy this year for this. Like in the preseason, annually, there's somebody that the Bills are not doing much in these 2 games, but the guy definitely has some buzz. My hang-up is he has been here for 2 years, and players can improve, and situations can change, and that's the case here with the Bills. But I just wonder if there really is an upside worth chasing with Shavers. What have they been waiting for? Like, why wouldn't it have already shown up last year? I mean, not everybody shared the same opinion, but we've been questioning their quality at wide receiver for a long time. And here's a guy that was on the roster and they couldn't, really find a spot for him. Maybe that's my hesitation on him. And if he does make the team, it's to do what? Is he in the press box?
He's I think he's getting reps as punt gunner. Like, they're trying to see if he can play that role. That's probably his pathway. I don't think plainly as a receiver he's going to make it. So he's got to show that he can do a little bit of something else. And so that in and of itself tells you, I think, what they might think of him as a receiver, period. Because if he were a certain level of good at that, better than he is maybe, more accomplished than he is, then he wouldn't need the special teams piece to make it. So they're going to need someone to do that job from the receiving corps. And he might be the best bet at this point.
Okay.
Maybe Chenault, too. I mean, if Chenault, he's getting run. He's getting opportunities to see if he can return punts, which is interesting to me. Because I think Codrington showed you on Sunday, like, he should not be covering he certainly shouldn't be covering DJ Moore or Roma Dunze, which happened on Sunday, which, you wonder why the game got so crooked so fast. Well, I mean, there you go. But that's not a guy you should be counting on to play defense for you. You're in real trouble if you are.
Well, I'm over here talking about Davis, 9th all-time in touchdown catches for the Bills, one of the higher yards per catch players they've had. Shavers is number 1 in Bills history. Right. Number 1. Yards per reception.
63?
69.
69.
69.
I'm stealing 6 yards from the guy. They are
one play.
They are. This is funny. Like, Shavers, he has been here for a couple of years, like you say, so we should know that he's not a young guy. But because he's never really been on the team, he feels like a young guy. And Davis, of course, was here for 4 years and then went to Jacksonville. They're the same age.
Okay. 26?
Yeah.
First. Jim Kelly is 17th in that stat. Bills history.
Yards per reception?
Correct. 20. He averaged 20 yards. Think about that. He averaged 20 yards a catch. I'll tell you how after the update. Lines are open for your calls. Thank you, Daryl. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog at 803-0550. This is WGR.
Back to practice today for the Buffalo Bills as they get ready for their final preseason game this Saturday on the road versus Tampa. 6 players did not practice. That includes rookie Jordan Hancock. Head coach Sean McDermott with the media before practice said the early projections is that Hancock will not be available to play this weekend. And also before practice, the Bills announced a number of roster moves. They've waived cornerback to Corey Couch and wide receiver Caden Prather. They've signed running back Javeri.
Uh-oh, I forgot my assignment. Do I have a minute?
What were you going to? You were going to do something?
I was going to report to you on how Jim Kelly averaged 20 years per catch in his career.
Right, yeah, okay. Yeah, sure. Yeah, you got to,
He had a 35-yard reception and a 5-yarder. He had 2 catches.
That'll work.
See if either comes to mind. One was in the 35-yarder was against Denver, the Cornelius Bennett game.
The Cornelius Bennett game, not the 3 touchdowns in a minute and 17 seconds game. That's not the Cornelius Bennett game. That's okay. The Cornelius Bennett game is like the first Bennett game, or
his first game with the Bills.
Right. Okay.
They beat Denver.
Yeah.
And it was blacked out, so I can't tell you what this play looked like. I've never seen maybe any highlights from that game.
I think there's a Denver game that I was at that I always have trouble placing, whether it was at or near the end of high school or in the late 80s. Like I have never been able to nail it down. I think I went with a friend from high school. Maybe we were still friends because we did go to ECC together, me and Tom Mahalski. I feel like we were at that game. Is the first Cornelius Bennett game the same Denver game where they were rotating quarterbacks?
No.
Okay.
There were a lot of Denver games.
Yeah.
There are a lot of them in there. Yeah. That would have been 92, I think. This is 87.
Okay.
There's 89 on Monday night where they lose. There's 94 on Monday night where they win. There's 90. I mean, most famously, you mentioned that game already. Right, yeah. A lot of home Denver games those years.
I think this game is before I moved away. So it's maybe when Bennett gets here. When does Bennett get here?
October 87.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'm at that game.
Okay, yeah. That's all you then.
But I don't.
Just like Hard Knocks.
But I don't remember.
Anybody needs anything on 87 Denver Bills, that's Bulldog.
Hard Knocks tonight. Yeah, I don't remember this. I don't remember this Kelly play though.
He also, I should have looked up who threw the pass in 1988, the Mike Schopp game where I get the field goal net.
Okay.
He catches a 5-yard pass from Rob Riddick on a 3rd and 10. And then
they punt.
They missed a field goal.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
In that one. So those were, and then they put a stop to it. No more throwing to Jim Kelly.
3rd and 10, you're throwing a halfback option pass to your quarterback. Why you gotta get so cute?
That's what they were. They were out of ideas. Like nothing was working.
You gotta get so cute.
Riddick threw the other pass too.
Okay.
So they had a hook. They had a connection. Those two guys.
Yeah. Okay.
Rob Riddick and Jim Kelly. What was I going to do? This got in my head. I forgot to do it. We decided. Here it is. We decided. This is good news. I think you should take this as a positive. We decided that Sunday's Bills-Bears game was not the worst Bills game ever.
We did?
Well, didn't we?
I don't know.
Is that up for debate, whether that was the worst game ever? What is?
It definitely isn't the worst Bills game ever, no.
What is the worst game ever? It can't be a preseason game, of course.
No, right.
What is? You could look at this as like 13 seconds is the worst Bills game ever. But I don't think I would.
No.
I'm thinking more of just like an absolute...
It's one of the most painful games
beat
ever,
down.
but it's a great game. It's not a... No. Yeah, beat down or like mind-numbingly just nothing happening. Like
the Browns game.
6-3 to the Browns.
Yeah.
Would be a contender for me.
I'm thinking about that game against the Saints. This is McDermott's first year.
Yep.
The game ends 47-10, and they just could not stop a running play in this game against the Saints. Just at home, expectations are building a little bit, like it's going all right, and that's when they take Taylor out. Right, the next week, go to L.A. And that might be the worst Bills game ever too. For 2 in a row,
yeah,
they lose those 2 games by like 100-30 or something.
And they bring Taylor back and beat the Chiefs.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Speaking of Denver, there's
5 interceptions and a half has to rank for worst game ever.
Or worst half by one player.
Yeah.
That might be the winner for that.
That definitely is. Yeah.
You're talking about Denver. All those Denver home games. There's also one, I've mentioned this game a few times. God, it's 22 years. I bet several times. 1984. And I'm 12. At that game against Elway, and the Bills lose 37-7. I think is the final score. Like that's a
beatdown.
A heck of a score, 37-7. And I think of this game because like the place is empty, which is one of these things. We talked about this too. That you maybe would not believe that not that long. This is not the rock pile. But there were games that they might have had 15,000 people, less than a Sabres game. 20.
Yep.
Numbers like that. And that team was terrible.
Pretty regularly then that happened.
I was one of them in that 84 season, and they lost to Denver 37-7. And I just was not mature to think about perspective for that, but what that would have felt like to people who were and could think about like, What is this?
That is really what the 90s, that's what Kelly coming and everybody else, Bruce and Thurman Thomas and all of them, all the Hall of Famers, Marv Levy, the whole bunch. It never got like that again, even though we endured that drought for 17 seasons. It just became the place to go in the 90s because they were so good, and it never stopped being that. Even though your objectives may be changed, or why you were going there may have changed at points during the drought, because it became more of a party and less about the game and all that, because the team wasn't that good most of the time. They weren't terrible usually, but they weren't a real contender or anything. But the attendance always sort of stayed steady. There was never really, I mean, considering the Toronto stuff, how vulnerable we felt about Ralph Wilson's age, so many things. It never got... Like, if the stadium had ever looked like it looked in 1984, during that time, I think there would have been a lot of panic. There was plenty of concern, legitimate concern, about the future of the team, but their attendance never really suffered after the 90s. Once they got up and running in 88, they didn't sell out. They didn't sell out the comeback game. It was not a sellout. They didn't sell out a playoff game, which might sound insane to someone who's 25 years old right now. Like, what? that team with those guys didn't sell out a playoff game? Yeah, no. They were down a little. It was a wild card game. But
they might have been 11-5, but still.
Right, but still, it was not, half empty. I mean, it just, whatever. It was still a lot of people were there. I mean, way more claim that they were there.
Yes.
Or at least stayed anyway.
11-5 is correct. They were second to Miami. One little odd stat about the Bills-Broncos series. So since 1969, they've played 26 times, including playoffs. 20 were at home. 6 games in Denver since the late 60s.
Why is that so disproportionate?
It's just the randomness of the schedule. I mean, the two playoff games, you had the better record.
Right.
But yeah, it's just the randomness of the schedule, and you didn't line up with Denver when they weren't in the, when your divisions weren't matched.
Right.
And then when they would alternate. Like that's what's happened since.
Right.
But yep, 26 meetings. That's not their entire history. They played, all the time in the AFL. But 68 on, 69 on, 26 meetings. 20 of those games were here, and 6 were in Denver. I mean, is there a petition to change that anywhere out there?
Denver.
We had this with the Chiefs. Why are the Bills always going to Kansas City? And it was the same thing. And the fact that Kansas City had the better season, so in the playoffs they would go to Kansas City. Right. This year, though, the game, again, like last year, the regular season game is here. And the Chiefs are here next year, too.
Oh, yeah? All right. I believe you. I have no idea. I never know this far ahead of time. I'm not judging you that you do. It's great that you know. Knowledge is good.
It's also really... Who needs it anymore? I mean that sarcastically. Just look it up. But that's one where they flip every 3 years, and it would be 20 in the regular season. In 23 was at Arrowhead. That might be the Kadarius Toney play game. And now the next in that particular aspect of the rotation, the next meeting would be here. Maybe that's week 1
after the Bills beat them in the AFC Championship game.
New stadium.
Yep.
Sounds pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
803-0550 for your calls. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here. This is WGR.
Folks, Bulldog here for the roofing pros I trust. Amherst Roofing, whether it's a small repair or a full replacement.
Bills down to one preseason game Saturday night in Tampa. And they do play the Bucks during the season as well. Here, home and home.
I guess that's right, sure. It's like a division rivalry. How many people from either team will play on Saturday that will actually be on the field when they meet in the regular season? Over under 5.5 each team.
Kickers.
Okay.
Maybe. I mean,
long
if Bass
snappers
doesn't come back.
Right. Long snapper, punter. Yeah.
Right.
Special teamers.
Take the specialists out of it.
Those core, the holder, snapper, kickers, punter.
Is there going to be, we haven't talked about this yet today, is there going to be some call for Allen and the offense to play coming off of like what has happened so far in the preseason? I mean, you're not going to be on board. I don't think I am either.
Good God, no.
But, they're getting shut out here. Like, somebody's going to say it.
Sure. Yeah. I heard someone call One Bills Live today saying if I were I think their subject today was if you were the coach, how would you handle this game coming up on Saturday? And the one person I heard call the show, many people called the show, but while I was driving in, the one I happened to hear said if I were the coach, I would play the starters for like a series or two. Just get them something. I think that's what the practice against the Bears served that purpose. I think that's why you do that, and I think it's a very convenient way to feel like you've at least gotten your offense out for a drive without exposing them as much as you would playing in a preseason game. I mean, I watched last night until both guys were out. And Burrow stayed in a little bit longer than Daniels had the one drive. He scored. He could have gotten, I still am not really sure what a Bengals safety was doing on the touchdown run because he had Daniels, it looked like dead to rights and sort of let up. It looked like, I don't want to hit him too hard. It's preseason. It's kind of what it looked like, which is weird. But anyway, I'm watching just until they're out because I want to, it would be notable. Like I want to see if something happened to Burrow. And Burrow had one. Did you see the highlights at all?
No.
There's one play. It wouldn't have probably made the highlight reel because it was not a highlight. Burrow was spinning around. He went back to pass and just spun away and then spun away again and just gave up ground. I mean, he might have taken like a 15-yard sack right near his own goal line. And in the middle of the play, one of his offensive linemen threw both his arms up like, what are we even doing here? Is what the guy looked like. There was a still shot of it I saw on Twitter earlier today. Like, Burrow's just spinning around and the guy's just standing there with his arms up like this. Like, what do you want me to do? Yeah. Watching that would have had me, like, if that's Josh Allen, I'm just, oh my God, get off the field. Gene, what are we doing here? Stop already. Just get him out of there.
Big doings in the Washington running back room, it seems.
I guess so.
A lot of excitement about that. Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt is the hottest thing in fantasy drafts right now. Bill. He goes by the name Bill.
I heard that on the broadcast last night.
Because of a reference to a kids' TV show called Little Bill. And I guess maybe he was like kind of bald as a kid, and I don't know the show at all.
I don't know this. I don't know anything about it.
That's why Bill.
Okay.
But you know his story, like the end of his college career. He went to play, like a lot of guys, he's on 2 or 3 different schools. He went to Arizona, and I never know the whole thing, but he wore a jersey number earlier in his career that belonged to someone else, and he was therefore dinged the year. I think it was.
Whoa.
Like, he lost a year of eligibility because he shared a number or something, like just for reasons like that, some reason like that. And so he didn't get to play. He played 1 game for Arizona, and then like he was done.
That is one of the craziest things I've ever heard.
2 players on the same team at Alabama State in 2019 wore the same number 21, and it cost him eligibility. And then so he played only the 1 game, I think, for Arizona.
Is that even his mistake, or is that more?
Is it even a mistake? Yeah. I mean, I've been to college games where there's a bunch of people wearing the same number. You go to camp, and there's right? I mean,
this
could happen and did. and it cost him
that's tough.
eligibility. So we never talked about him at the draft. Like, he was not, well, it's a running back, but still, like, he was not somebody that was on the radar. He ends up being a 7th-round pick to Washington. Pick 245, one of these guys, right? No chance. The guy I first heard, Trapasso was into him too, I think. But Sam Monson, one of his podcasts, he and Steve Palazzolo, ranked before the draft their top 10 running backs. And when Sam mentioned Ja'Cory Crosky-Merritt, whose name I think I had never heard, Steve kind of went, "Oh!" And he's sort of excited about it because, like, here was a guy who had a story and he had no draft hype, because he didn't play. And now it's like he sounds like, well, Chris Rodriguez too, but they're leaving Brian Robinson off the team to try to trade him. I don't know how tradable he is. He's okay. You've got Eckler there, and now you got Bill. Let's
go Bill.
Go Bill. Right.
Goodbye, God bless, go Bill.
And Rodriguez. So this guy, like, most of the year in fantasy, he wasn't drafted at all. And last night in the main event, my team and I picked him in the 8th round, which was probably a little crazy.
It seems maybe high. I don't know.
It isn't low.
Much of anything about this world. But,
we were slappies on that one. Yeah. How about some reverse AFC power rankings? It's been 2 weeks, unless I missed it yesterday. I doubt you did them yesterday.
No, we didn't do it yesterday. I did it the Friday you were still off, I think. Did we do them again?
I don't know. I'll check.
All right.
This time I will check. I'll have it in front of me. Yeah. But I think it's been a while. Anyway, whether it has or hasn't, we'll have that for you coming up after the update. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here, WGR. Mike Schopp here.
Get ready for their final preseason game of the year this Saturday in Tampa Bay. 6 players not practicing this morning. That includes rookie Jordan Hancock. Head coach Sean McDermott did meet with the media beforehand and said the early projections with Hancock is that he will not be able to play this weekend. And then before practice, the Bills also announced some roster moves. They have waived cornerback Corey Couch and wide receiver Caden Prather. They have signed running back Javarian Howard and wide receiver Grant DuBose, and have placed running back Darrington Evans on IR. Sal Capaccio has more on practice today up at our website, WGR550.com. Former Bills wide receiver Gabe Davis reportedly has wrapped up his second visit with the Steelers today, and now he is expected to follow that up with a meeting with the Bills tomorrow. The Colts have their starting quarterback. Head coach Shane Steichen did announce today it'll be Daniel Jones, and Bucs head coach Todd Bowles confirmed wide receiver Jalen McMillan will miss a significant portion of the regular season this year with a neck injury. And then in baseball, no Bison's game tonight due to rain. Buffalo and Scranton will make that game up on Thursday, a single-admission doubleheader. While in the majors, Blue Jays at the Pirates and Mets at the Nationals, both just after 6:40. While the Yankees, they are down in Florida versus the Rays. That game just after 7:30. And Sports Talk on WGR is presented by Paramount Plus. You can't count on much these days, but you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus. Watch your local NFL game live every Sunday on CBS and Paramount Plus all season long. Visit ParamountPlus.com/NFL to get started today. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet celebrating 90 years of being your hometown dealership. I'm Zach Jones for WGR Sports Radio 550.
Yes. Welcome back. It's exciting. It's in prime time tonight, sort of.
It's as prime time as we get.
That's right. This hour is as prime time as we get. Reverse AFC Power Rankings, powered by Empire Electric. Your residential neighborhood electrician. Visit empireelectricians.com. I can barely hear the music. It is there, right? Okay,
yes.
All right, good. All right. Last time around, August 8th, yourself and Sal, I believe, with Zach.
That's right. Yep.
B minus on the writing, I would say. You just you slanted right a little bit there, but not bad.
It got late. I tried. I said this even on the air. I tried to match your writing so that it would look the same, but I don't write the same as you, so it took effort, and that's why I probably trailed to the right. I just wasn't. I was trying to do too much.
With your C, you do that little line at the beginning with the C, down and then around, rather than just around. You have that little that line. Is there a name for that? That little hook on your C.
Chris is the name for it.
We'll try to tighten things up. Clearly, that's my mission here, isn't it, so far, listening to the last 3 minutes? Reverse AFC Power Rankings, 16.
I'm going to go Indianapolis.
You know, Indianapolis. Just stop.
Cut it out, Indianapolis.
I was surprised.
Starter
today.
For the whole season, by the way?
That's the worst part. That's the worst part.
What are we even doing here? I mean, what are you doing here? How bad must Anthony Richardson be at everything?
I know.
Talking, communicating, like just being. What is he? Just non-functional human being? I don't understand it.
I shouldn't have wavered the whole time. The guy's key word, this coach, Steichen, was consistency. That's what he wanted. Even if that means consistently mediocre. Mm-hmm. But if it's the same, he wants it. And today, when he made the announcement, he said that very thing. I told you guys, consistency, and that's why we're doing this. And, that's just absolutely backwards. A team like that, the guys, I saw today, he's started 69 games. Daniel Jones. Mm-hmm. I mean, what do we need to figure out? And, you want consistency so you can go 6-11 or something? Like, where does that get you? You have to shoot for the upside, I think. But, right away you got to, maybe off the field, and that's been part of the Richardson story too. Just and on the field, but just like strange behavior or whatever it is. I don't want to be wrong there. It's just you're saying, does there have to be something? And maybe there does. But he made one throw in their last game that was unbelievably good to Mitchell. Yeah, well, he didn't do it every time, so he was inconsistent, I guess. Too inconsistent.
Warren Sharp did go pretty long today on, have you watched the guy play? Yes, the splash plays are there, but, he's of guys that have attempted X amount of passes or whatever over some sample size that fits Richardson, he's, last in everything.
I know. Yeah.
There's not... The problem is that it's Daniel Jones. I think more so than... I can understand them losing faith in Richardson. And I've always, ever since last year, I always make the point, I'm sorry to be such a broken record about it, but I think it has to be a part of it. Otherwise, I think they would keep trying to get him to be more consistent. But they have given up because I think they just don't think he knows how to do enough of the things you need to know how to do just, from a... Just overall, the guy just doesn't get it.
Well, it's a terrible process because you had to expect this to be at least probable from the beginning. He started 15 games only, and they're done. He very rarely played even in college. That was the thing about him was you got to be patient, and they've been anything but. So they deserve what they get. Plus the owner died, and this is one where you might want ownership to be your beacon here. This, we did this. If you don't want to start him, I'll get somebody who will. This is the project, and to end up here instead, well, they're first in the power rankings for a reason.
Nope.
16.
Never gonna be able to take that away from them, at least for this week.
At least for this week. 15.
Cleveland.
Why don't we just keep the vibes going with the, what are you doing exactly at quarterback thing?
Flacco, they announced.
And keeping all four of them, apparently. I just don't understand keeping Kenny Pickett on the roster. I don't understand it at all.
Is there... I feel like this came up yesterday, maybe off the air. You Zach, you and I and Nate talked about it, I think. Is there... some reason they would say that, hoping that somebody out there is going to need a guy and they'll give them something for Kenny Pickett? I just can't fathom keeping all four of them either. I really don't get it.
That would seem possible. I don't know if you need to make the comment, but it would seem possible. It's always seemed possible to me that somebody would want him for nothing, for a backup role.
Right, a seventh or just whatever.
Same with Winston in New York, and they're saying the same thing about him, that he's staying.
Yeah.
Okay, why?
Okay, the kids look good.
Yes, that's true there. Jackson Dart.
So, Flacco is not Daniel Jones. The ceiling can be higher there with Flacco, but...
The floor is lower.
The floor is lower.
There are some bad turnover games, coming.
Yep.
14.
I'm going to go Tennessee. I just don't think there's enough there. The reviews on Ward have been decent. Have they been decent?
I think so.
Did he get into a second fight at a training camp practice, or was it just the one?
I only know about a mix-up with Justin Simmons. Do I have the name right? Defensive tackle, Jeffrey Simmons.
Okay,
sorry,
that sounds right.
That's it.
There's a safety named Justin Simmons.
Yeah. I think he's maybe still available. That's another thing that came up yesterday.
Must be terrible, then.
Anyway, right. So I don't know if there was a second. I saw a reference to a situation with that. But really, what even if he is decent, what are they going to do this year? 5 wins? He's not going to be C.J. Stroud.
Well, what is the ceiling? Washington last year is the ceiling. If he's good, does he have to be amazing? Like Daniels was closer to amazing, I guess.
Yeah.
But a rookie quarterback season where he turns everything around is possible. Obviously, the expectations for him are not as lofty.
Right.
But still, first overall pick. I think,
that would be. You're not saying necessarily that would be stunning to me. Like Daniels was just, to me, head and shoulders prospect-wise, expectation-wise, a much better prospect than Ward. But
all they did, though, was put a rookie in who wasn't everybody's athletically amazing, but I think of Davis Maddox saying, why does every hit he takes look like he was in a ski accident?
Right.
It
was a Wile E. Coyote thing there, yeah.
What did I just get done saying on Richardson? Like, it was going to be maybe some sort of growth process, and nobody really liked Dan Quinn, found that all very exciting, or Kingsbury, and they won 12 games. I might find a way to bet Tennessee in that division, because I don't like anybody. That'd be a pretty good price. I don't want to pick them here either. You have, I'll say, Dolphins.
I'm going Tennessee here.
All right. 13.
I will go Dolphins with you.
Let's go. The team in the AFC East I'd least want to be is Miami. 12.
I agree with that, and I hate the Jets, but at least the Jets are, starting over. Like, I think the Dolphins are preparing to start over.
Yeah, the Jets are where the Dolphins will be next year.
That is the NFL Films.
That's it.
That is the NFL Films title for the season, the 2025 season, Miami Dolphins. Preparing to start over.
Yeah. I have screen grabs of maybe like 20 of those in my phone. I never know where to find them. But sometimes, I think of that, and I want to just sort of tweet one of these pictures.
Right.
Because some of them are so funny. 12.
The Jets.
Fine.
Yeah, sure.
I'm avoiding the Raiders. 11. Can we pick Indianapolis again? No.
I think I'm going to have to pick the Raiders now.
Jacksonville.
Raiders.
It's dumb because it's the preseason. It's only the beginning, but my friend Louie was over on Saturday for a big draft, and we started with tight end premium. We started with Bowers at 103, which is about that's about the range. I mean, that's not a reach. And we get around to 4 o'clock, and the first play of that game, maybe, or at least Raiders offensive play, you see it, was Geno Smith, just sort of a long fade to Bowers, who's got a corner on him up the right sideline. He just jumps right over this guy, mosses him almost, and just sort of brings the ball down.
I did see this. I saw a couple highlights from this game. I saw Genty hospitalize that guy.
He had a run.
He just murdered that guy on the hash marks. Just bam.
I don't think they're probably very good, but there's just some excitement about them.
Yeah.
Raiders at 11. 10.
I would go New England.
I'm New England as well.
Okay. 9, Jacksonville?
Sure, yeah.
8?
Steelers? Yeah, Steelers. I might have argued for Steelers out of Jacksonville.
Yeah,
I forgot the Steelers were there.
Going through that wide receiver 2 room is a journey. They have just nobody there.
Gabe Davis, baby. Although he's completed his visit. I saw a reference to that, so I don't know if that means he's left without signing a contract, but the sounds maybe like that. The visit's complete.
Yep. 7. Texans?
No objection to that.
What did the Chargers do that made me mad?
Oh, wait. No, I wanted the Steelers.
We got them at 8.
Oh, we did. Okay, I'm sorry.
What did the Chargers just do?
I was in the room. I don't know what happened there.
Was it the drop by Quentin Jefferson? He got hurt on that play.
Johnson?
Too.
No.
Quentin Johnson, yes.
No.
God, he got helmet to helmet, no flag, no nothing. He got wrecked. That was brutal.
I forget. Something.
Being the Chargers, that's fine.
Yeah.
Chargers at 6?
Sure.
Or someone else? LA?
Yeah, no, I'm good with them there.
I'm realizing I don't know what happened in a lot of Week 2 preseason games. I didn't watch very much. I watched a lot in Week 1, not very much in Week 2. And I don't have the lacrosse tournament excuse. There wasn't one.
You have a life.
Oh, yeah, that was it.
This is good for your mental health.
That was it.
Not doing too much.
I hiked Gore Mountain. That's why I didn't watch the preseason this weekend. That's what I was doing. I forgot. I was touching grass. 5.
Cincinnati.
Yeah, I think so. Getting tight over here with the writing.
This is a shot, I think.
No,
Because of my right drift.
We're a team. Right drift.
Right drift.
Yes, you check the tires on this power ranking sheet. 4.
Denver.
I mean, how do you not?
Right.
I really want this to line up. It's not going to happen. It's going to be close. 3. Bills.
I'm gonna say Bills.
Sorry.
Sorry.
You
No.
started the talk, and then I
it's fine.
Jumped the line.
It's the same. I don't hear Baltimore and Kansas City talking today. Granted, I think we would have seen it if Andy Reid were sitting there going, I'm not sure who my starting blah blah blah, blah is going to be. I think we'd hear about it, and so the Bills should get dinged for not having everything lined up here. And it's not even really, well, it is injury. It's not that somebody's out, but he has been out. Bishop has been out. But I feel like I want to ding him for that.
If the Chiefs did, they probably have some roster dilemma. I'm not sure I would know about it. I was hiking Gore Mountain on Saturday, feeling like if the Chiefs made some sort of comment today, I wouldn't hear it. I wouldn't find out. Maybe I was right. 2.
I'm going to say Baltimore.
Kansas City.
All right, it might be one of those weeks where we remember that Kansas City wins the conference every year.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. Yeah.
I really wanted Baltimore too, so because 1 means only 2 letters, and I need the space. Chiefs
again
at 1.
With the
boy. I don't mean for you to take that personally. I hope you don't. See. We get it
How
back
else am I supposed to take it?
Good question. I don't know. Is there another way? Help, quick, tell me.
So, yeah.
There's no other way?
If you hadn't screwed up the lines here, you'd have enough room to fit a 3-letter team at the bottom, but I screwed it up.
Controversial reasoning there.
It's your fault for going to Gore Mountain all the time.
Gore, that's right. Headed there next.
Like Gore Mountain's having a day.
Yeah, they are having a day.
Good for them.
I won a bet on the Bills game, but I made a few bets at the same time. And is your app like this, where when you go to see the results of your bets, they're listed in the reverse order of when they were placed, not when the game happened? Like the most recent sporting event I bet on was Bills-Bears, but it was like down the list because I bet that at the same time or right about the same time as other games that it happened earlier.
No, I'm pretty sure mine go in the order that they're settled.
Okay, that's better.
But it's often, it's 4 games at once.
Yeah.
So, but as soon as like one piece of it loses, it's in there as settled. Like you lost.
Yeah, you do parlays.
Right.
And I don't.
Right.
But I'm just like, where I saw it in the balance, but I didn't see it on the, it scrolled down.
Yeah. They hid it from you.
Just doesn't really make sense that would be the order, right?
Right, yeah.
That's a different app. It's not FanDuel in this case.
Well, there's your problem.
that might be right. The Blue Jays are in Pittsburgh tonight. Hopefully it's not raining like it is here.
And didn't look. Yeah, I don't know.
That'll be a game we can watch. We get the Pirates these days.
Yeah, the Pirates are on the Fubo, so yeah.
Good.
There's a game on Apple TV tonight, too. Who are the Phillies playing?
No idea.
Phillies and Mariners, it is.
Oh, throw out the record books.
They've never played before.
Phillies and Mariners. I've never thought about them together.
Because they've never played.
I've never thought about the Phillies and Mariners. Have they ever made a trade? I can't think of any sort of commonality between the Phillies and the Mariners, but they probably exist. Sal was on earlier. He would know. We talked to him about today's Bills practice and some interesting roster stuff couldn't have done better there to discuss, as we did with Sal Capaccio. That's next here on WGR.